Thank you. Thank you very much. Oh, you're too kind. Really. Thank you. What a great audience. I love this audience. Thank you. Late night in the heartland. Oh, we love you, America, and everywhere else around the globe. Thanks so much. Please, please sit down. Take it easy. Take your leave. Boy, I appreciate you guys so very much. I really do. And it's been another interesting day here in the United States of America. At least we keep the world entertained. And, there's a lot of people on the other side of things from our side. And you notice they're really mad about Donald Trump taking the mask off. They're always worried about him taking something off, right? Whew, I tell you, it's got to be tough to be our great president, but being the objective, empirical, scientific mind that I am, ladies and gentlemen, I commissioned a very secret, very, very scientific poll. And it turns out that even though some people are upset about the president taking off his mask, it turns out that there's many, many more people that wish Nancy Pelosi would put a mask on. Yeah. And that she'd keep it on over her head so we can't see her. It's the truth, ladies and gentlemen. And I don't know if you heard about this or not, but Joe Biden, he doesn't get out much, but he was able to sit in front of a teleprompter today and read that black people are not as diverse. Black people don't have as many ideas as Hispanics. It seems he went to a soul food restaurant. There was only 5 things on the menu. Went down the street to the Mexican buffet and there was 148 items. So, Joe thought that was much better. So I guess that's what, he's basing that on. I don't know. But I guess arguably the biggest news of the day is that the Hillary Clinton emails have been, declassified. They're unredacted. And in tragic news, ladies and gentlemen, in response to that, and obviously in great worry and fear, Anthony Weiner, he's in the hospital because at the news of those things being released, it seems like Anthony acid washed his wiener. He did. I agree. He acid washed his wiener, ladies and gentlemen. But we've got a great show for you tonight. We've got open lines. We're going to open them up in just a few minutes. And we are going to talk about some things in between. We've got a lot of good stuff to talk about. But, we always start out with good news for a change. And it is good news for a change for a couple of reasons. It's good news, number one, for a change because you don't get to hear much good news. Everybody wants to talk about bad news, but we start with the good news for a change. It's on jeffreydaugherty.com under the good news tab because we want you to have some good news for a change. And also we think that when you start focusing on good news, it will bring about a change in your life. So the good news for October 7th, 2020, ladies and gentlemen, Donald Trump authorizes the declassification of all Russian collusion, Hillary Clinton email probe documents. And unless, folks, you're Anthony Weiner, that's really, really good news. Can you imagine? Folks, that he actually, sorry, you know how these ads pop up when I'm trying to show you news. Can you imagine that he acid washed that wiener? Oh boy, that's a bad one. That's a bad one. And come on, get out of here, Brent. Don't want to talk about you. Don't want to talk to you. But President Trump on Tuesday, folks, he has announced that, and we're still trying to get me up to speed on this. He's announced that he's fully authorized the total declassification of any and all documents related to the Russia investigation and the FBI's investigation into former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton's use of a private email server. Well, Jeff, that's great news if you're Republican, but how's that great news if I'm not a Republican? Well, if you're an American, it should be great news that the President of the United States is enforcing and doing everything he can to create transparency within the government. The government has long been a dark cabal, and now we are exposing that dark cabal so that Americans can know exactly what's going on. And I got to tell you this one blows my mind. I can't even hardly believe that it's true. The governor of Puerto Rico, ladies and gentlemen, the governor of Puerto Rico goes on Telemundo, folks. Telemundo. We all know that Hispanics hate President Trump. We all know that Hispanics aren't going to ever vote for President Trump. And we all know that they're more creative than black people and more diverse than black people. We know that now from the wisdom of Joe Biden. And I'll tell you what, I think Joe Biden's wrong about our black friends 100%. But you know what? Our Hispanic friends, they are very, very smart. They are very, very savvy people, because the governor of Puerto Rico today on Telemundo, she went out and told everybody to vote, and she encouraged them to vote for President Trump. Puerto Rico Governor Wanda Vasquez Garced endorsed President Trump's reelection bid on Tuesday, weeks after the White House announced an aid package meant to boost the island's efforts to rebuild its infrastructure following Hurricane Maria, ladies and gentlemen. You remember the song by Jose Feliciano? Oh, take a letter, Maria. Well, this one was take a hotel, Maria. Take a building, Maria. It was terrible. And I don't mean to make light of it, but you know what I do, part of what I do is make jokes. So President Trump has turned this into a strength by reaching out to people that need it. And he's polling almost 40% in the black community. And I think that he's going to be polling even that high in the Hispanic community. It's going to be a runaway victory for our great president. And it's less than a month away. And we're asking you to do your part and go out and vote for this great president. Give us 4 more years to change the world. You know, I always say I can do it myself if you give me 4 more years of President Trump. And I believe that's true. But if we can do it together, it'll be even better. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm not making this good news up. This comes from One Day Survey of the News. The Dow Jones Industrials, this is the stock market, ladies and gentlemen. It rallied more than 500 points for its best day since July. Think about that. The economy had its best day since July. Well, that was just yesterday, but you know, it's July, August. That's 4 months ago. We're still in the throes of the dosum whist. Everything's supposed to be going to hell in a handbasket. Watch some of these chuckleheads on YouTube. They telling you crash, crash, horror, horror, dollar, dollar. It's over. But still send me some dollars. You ever notice that? Your YouTube presenter will say to you, oh, the dollar's about to crash. The dollar's about to crash. But could you send me a few hundred? If the dollar's about to crash, if the U.S. financial system's about to go down, then what the hell you need somebody sending you a dollar that ain't worth nothing? Folks, I know that's why you're here, is for the incredible insights, for the witty humor. But come on, man. How are you going to sit there and say, the dollar's dying, but can you give me some? U.S. stocks rose sharply on Wednesday after President Donald Trump tweeted support for aid to airlines and other stimulus measures, stoking hope that a smaller aid package could be passed by lawmakers. So let me address all of you rocket scientists, all you social scientists, all you really, really incredibly smart people that think it's horrible that the president tweets and think it's horrible that the president tries to bring some hope into this dark world. Let me read this sentence for you again, and let me tell you why this is good news, whether you love, hate, or indifferent towards our great president. Look at what this says. U.S. stocks rose sharply. Do you know what happens when stocks rise sharply? American people make money. Your grandma's 401k gets bigger so she doesn't have to worry if she can afford her medicines because Obamacare sucks. When the stocks rise, you don't have to worry about your 401k as much because you get more money in your 401k. When stocks rise, people create jobs. When stocks rise, house prices go down and the market turns into a buyer's market and a seller's market. So the stocks rose sharply based on what? Based on President Donald Trump tweeting. Tell me again how it's bad for the country when Donald Trump tweets. It's only bad for the people that don't want good for the people. Remember that, ladies and gentlemen. We've got a great president. We've got a president that love, hate, indifferent. He loves the United States of America, and he loves the people that make up the United States of America. And we haven't had this maybe since the great John F. Kennedy, possibly Ronald Reagan, but it's been a long, long time since we've been able to enjoy a true American in the White House. And you know what happens when we get true Americans in the White House? Stock market goes up, great things happen. And ladies and gentlemen, look at this one. Sorry, wrong button. Mortgage rates set another record low, sparking new strength in refis. Cynthia was in the mortgage business. And I told her, wow, they dropped the rates. And she said, how much was it? And I said, it dipped to 3.01. She goes, damn, that's a pretty good rate. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, cousins of all ages, they want to tell you that things are bad and getting worse. They want to tell you the economy's about to tank. They want to tell you the dollar's about to be destroyed, but they want some dollars. Sounds sort of hypocritical to me, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know about you, but it sounds sort of hypocritical to me. But the truth of the matter is, and I wanted to uncover the Super Pal chat. So if you want to give a Super Pal chat, you know, I can't do Super Chat because they've taken my monetization away, but we're not slowing down. I can't do Super Pal chat, but anyway, Super Pal chat, they took half of it. If you want to help a brother out, you can do a Super Pal chat. Just put that URL, paypal.me/Jeffrey Daugherty, just like you see it there on the screen. And you can give a PayPal to me, and we will mention your comment. We will read your question on the air. Ladies and gentlemen, don't believe them when they tell you things are bad and getting worse, because they're really good, and they are getting better, better, better. And this world is going to be better than it's ever been sooner than you can ever imagine, my friends. Let me look real quickly into the chat room, and then we will open up the phone lines. They are not open yet. Just wait a little bit, please, until we do open the phone lines. And we're not going to go through and name everybody that's here because it takes too long, and there's just so many people. She said it says Kamala got sliced and diced. We'll look at that. Be sure to tip your servers. I'll be here all week. Aaron says that Vice President Pence kicked ass, capitalized. Ooh, a Doc Severinsen intro. That's a really good idea. The debate was brutal. Brandon says it was no contest. Unk says, sup, fams? I saw you on a show, bruh. You killed it. When are we going to get you? And always docking in the his out on this channel and talk about the craziness that is going on. Let's see what else we got. We got Puerto Rico is a shocker. The governor of Puerto Rico endorsing President Trump. Let's see. What do they need $1 for if the dollar's going to crash? Absolutely. Aaron, the coffee is excellent. And referring to the rites of passage, remember how we're supposed to be humble ourselves before God. Also, those who want wisdom must be humbled. I'm not sure what you mean there, Caleb, but I know this. I'm not going to humble myself before the God of the Bible. You see how I self-regulated there, ladies and gentlemen? You see how I self-regulated? Oh, easy cash app. Jeff is easy. Thank you, PJP. I'll look at it. But I got a PayPal, and that's easy too. That's easy too. Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, cousins of all ages, it's been a great a great experiment that we've done here with Late Night in the Heartland. We invite you to unindoctrinate overnight. I think we're going to keep it. I like the 11 to 2. We may play a little bit, look at the numbers, look at the way it works as far as the analytics. We may massage the times, but we are going to keep the show. It is here to stay. And, you know, I find it very, very comical how there's so many people that, who is God, asked Giovanni Quevedo. Giovanni, I want you to go to the nearest reflective surface, preferably a mirror, and I want you to look into that mirror, and I want you to tell me what you see, because Giovanni Quevedo, what you see in that mirror is God. It's the closest thing you'll ever see to God. What you see in that mirror has a spark of divinity. God is the creator, or the creators. I happen to think it was probably male and female. That's God. You're God. We're God. And if that doesn't convince you, Giovanni, go outside and just look around. Giovanni, the great, august, illimitable God, how could we ever hope to contain the majesty of God within a book, within a world of books? We can't. It doesn't make any sense. What is the gospel? It's not a book. What is the gospel? It's not a Bible. The gospel, my friends, is creation. And there's a key in the script. They call it the scripture, Giovanni. I call it the script, where it says the handiwork of the divine declares their majesty. That's God, Giovanni. That is God, and the most easiest expression of God that you can see is by looking in the mirror. And I am opening up the phone lines. You can call at 813-534-0083. There's only one phone line, but there's two rules. Number one, I forgot the rules. Number one, be polite. And number two, be interesting. We'll see if this first caller qualifies. I have a feeling that they're going to be just fine. Let me adjust my sound for optimum audience experience. It is Late Night in the Heartland, and you're live with Jeffrey Daugherty.
Calling from the battleground of the Midwest for Late Night in the Heartland with Jeffrey Daugherty. How's it going, Jeff?
Hello, my brother. What's going on?
Hi. Well, are you tired of winning yet?
You know what? I told you that sometimes, you know, and I do have empathy for people. I understand this has been a bad year for a lot of people. It's been hard for a lot of people. But Brandon, every day I've been winning. I go to sleep and I'm winning. I get up and I'm winning. I walk around during the day and I'm winning. I just started the polar plunge again today, and I almost feel guilty, but I get over it because I have been winning 24/7, 365 for the last 2 years straight. Am I tired of winning? Hell no. I can take some more winning. Bring me some winning, baby.
That debate was no contest. And
I have to admit, I didn't watch it. I can't stand looking at her. I really can't.
Exactly. And I'll get to that in a second, but I wanted to speak on the positive first. When you do get a chance, please do watch it. Vice President Mike Pence is very well-spoken, very stoic, and very factual. And
what I did here, I just watched a few seconds, and I heard Vice President Trump saying that whenever I listen to the Biden-Harris plan for the virus, it sounds just like ours, and it sounds like plagiarism, and Joe Biden knows a thing or two about plagiarism.
Absolutely. And Mike Pence was just very calm. You know, it was so funny to see. And in vast comparison to that, Harris, the way that she talks down to people is so insulting. It almost mirrors what a kindergarten teacher would act.
And you know, at her best, she acts like she's in the beauty salon with one of those things on her head, smacking and talking down. Oh man, there's something about me that I would never ever hit a woman, but boy, I've been tempted. I've been tempted.
Right, and the fact that she is just blatantly so wrong on actual information, and it was just all feelings driven, and you can see that there is some sort of spell that they're trying to cast on people through broadcasting to try to brainwash them and talking to them almost as if they're like stupid and trying to get them to sway their decision based upon feelings rather than the facts of the matter. And if they are lied to by the media and don't have a large enough capacity to understand that, then that's where we're going to see problems.
Let me just interject here. Aaron McLemore says she thinks she's a better bitch. That's what she thinks. And Mark Bill says she can suck it. And Mark, I ask you, how do you think she got to where she is? But on and it's true.
Yeah, fuels up Harris, and she incorrectly called herself a black woman twice, and that really shouldn't matter. But she is not an African American. She is an Indian American who is pretending to be black to get sympathy for African American votes. And that is downright despicable.
And what's despicable about it most, Brandon, is that they think by doing what they're doing, she's an Indian woman. They are trying to pass an Indian woman off as an African American because they think our great black Americans are stupid. And they are finding out now, President Trump polling at 40%. And pretend you're a black American. And you get a call or you get approached on the street and they ask you, who are you going to vote for? They want to take your black card if you say President Trump. So the fact that 40% of black people are saying, I'm voting for President Trump, means about 80% of them really are.
Yeah, exactly. And all you have to remember is that the Democratic Party is the party of Jim Crow and the party of the KKK. And that right there, that should be the final answer to all of that. And again, race, ethnicity should not matter. We should redefine ourselves in the second American Revolution, that we are Americans first, and our ethnic backgrounds take a backseat to all of that. But they are time and again proving that all they can do is define themselves by their color, and it's sad.
It is. And Brandon, I saw a video. I think Cynthia sent it to me, but it was a black gentleman. And I mean, he was a proud black gentleman. He looked like a black gentleman. He dressed in, an urban fashion because that's the way he wanted to dress. And he was out there. I think he had a chicken stand, and he was registering voters. He had a chicken store. He's an entrepreneur, and he was inviting, and it's down in the predominantly black neighborhood, and he's inviting his friends to come in. And even though it was a chicken stand, he was offering a free slice of pizza and come in and register to vote. And he's talking he asked this guy, I want you to register to vote. Okay, who are you going to vote for? He says, I'm voting for Biden. And he's like, what? And he took about 5 minutes of the most eloquent, the most well-spoken, and he contextualized himself so well to who he was talking to. And he told in 5 minutes why they should vote for President Trump, why they should reject Biden. And he turned like 3 people that were going to vote for Biden into voters for Trump. And you know what? Young Pharaoh right now is over on his channel. Now, maybe not right this second, but he's on his channel doing the same thing. The Democratic Party has insulted our great black Americans for too long. The Democratic Party has treated our great black Americans like they're stupid. And I'm going to say it. The Democratic Party has treated our great black Americans like they were slaves. And guess what? The slaves are revolting. Trump 2020, he wins 45 states plus and crushes Electoral College.
Exactly. Everyone is leaving the plantation, and this year will be the end of the Democratic Party as we know it.
I can't believe you just said that. Right before we came on the air, I said to Cynthia, and if you're in, I said to Cynthia, drinking game, that's your first shot. But I said to Cynthia, I'm like, you know what? We may never see another Democrat nominee for president in this two-party system. I think we are watching the end of the Democratic Party as we know it. And in my opinion, it can't come soon enough.
No, absolutely. And just be ready for anything that may come. You know, I don't think anything bad is going to happen if we keep that positive energy high and enough people are awakened to the truth, especially with these email declasses that are coming out now. And I honestly foresee a 95% popular vote.
I do too. And then we got Marcus William in the chat room. Marcus Williams, sorry, I forgot the S. And this is Late Night in the Heartland. And he says, they want us to be like communist China. Fuck them. Trump 2020. They just want to use us.
Absolutely.
Amen, my brother.
Yes.
What else you got for us, Brandon?
Well, I was just going to say one remarkable thing that, again, Pence brought up in the debate was he absolutely, again, wiped the floor with Harris. It was just amazing to see because he was absolutely...
It ain't the first time she's been on the floor.
Exactly. Heels up Harris. He just remarked on the fact that conservatives have always been willing to reach across the aisle and try to find compromises and to really listen to people and to find ways that we can work together, because at the core of who we are, we should be Americans first. And
and that guy with the chicken store, he said he looked, it literally made tears come to my eyes, because he said, and you know what? We need to stop calling each other black. We're not black. We're just Americans.
Right.
And I loved it.
Correct. And honestly, all these people that are rioting and looting and burning things down and peacefully, quote unquote, protesting, if they don't like it, they can get out. There are planes leaving every day.
Planes, trains, buses.
Yes.
Get on one.
That is all I wanted to say. I can't stay on the whole show tonight. I will watch the replay in the morning, but I just wanted to call in because that debate honestly fired me up, because I can just see how I was hoping that Trump would possibly pick somebody different for vice president.
Tracy is saying the same thing.
I know traditionally that doesn't happen, but I was hoping that maybe he would do something like pick General Flynn. But I think Pence did an amazing job as vice president in the first term, and I'm looking forward to seeing what comes in the next one.
Brandon, I don't get that creepiness about Mike Pence. I don't know anything about Mike Pence. I haven't looked deeply into Mike Pence, but man, I'm telling you, he's been loyal to the president. He's been a great vice president. He's been there when called. I have no problem with Mike Pence, but Tracy makes a good point. They may be waiting till after the election because Pence is huge with the evangelicals, and maybe they got a little, some say Mike has got some shadiness and that he's being leveraged, but I don't get the creepy vibe from him, but I've been wrong before. I'm not always the best judge of character when it comes to fellow men, if you know what I mean.
Right. And I will bring up one interesting point regarding that I did find quite interesting before. Have you ever seen a picture of Chuck Schumer's wife?
Chuck Schumer's wife makes Michael Obama look gorgeous.
Sure, but have you noticed how similar she looks to Mike Pence, like facial structure?
No, I have not, Brandon. You got to be kidding me. I got to check that out. Schumer's wife.
That may be the wrong example that I'm thinking of, but there was somebody's wife that looked a lot like Mike Pence.
Oh, and my.
It wasn't a trans angle that they were taking with it. It was going back to the prophecy about the Trump novel.
The
time travel angle, that possibly Pence is from a different either dimension or time period. So
wow.
It's a little conspiratorial thing for you to investigate.
I appreciate that, Brandon. Thanks for calling in. And folks, go ahead.
One final thing. The show with Ken earlier today was fantastic, and I really do appreciate you for asking him on his insights about what's going on with Armenia and Azerbaijan. And I saw that you had liked that comment that I posted about the Armenian genocide. Everyone needs to know about that.
Well, I told you I'd get to it. It just took me a minute to do so.
Well, you asked the perfect person, and I'm glad that I got to hear some insights from Ken, because he's a very well-spoken, very intelligent person.
He really is, Brandon. Thanks so much for calling. We really do appreciate you.
Thank you.
And folks, I just want to remind you, we've only got one line. So if you hear me talking to someone, and this really is live, you got maybe a 5 or 10 second delay at most on YouTube, that means I am talking to somebody. So just wait until the line clears, and I'll be glad to hear from you. It's late night in the Heartland. I'm Jeffrey. You're live with me.
What's up, Jeff?
Hey, how are you?
This is Marcus, man.
Marcus.
I just made the comment about them trying to come in the channel. But this is my thing, man. They really don't even got a plan. You feel me? With the Biden debate and with the Kamala Harris debate, neither one of them got a plan. And not only that, like, Pence really put her on flames tonight, because he brought up her track record, which she made a point. With her track record and Biden's track record. Biden been in the office for multiple years. She's been in the office multiple years. Neither one of them done that. So what makes us think they're going to do anything different?
You know, that makes perfect sense. It's like President Trump said last time, and I think he was specifically addressing the black community. He said, hey, look, none of these guys have done anything for you before. What do you got to lose? Give me a shot. And Marcus, has he delivered for the black community, President Trump? Has President Trump done well for the black community as president?
Hell yeah.
I appreciate that.
But see, what pisses me off is the fact that they main thing is they want to make it about race.
Right.
If Donald Trump was racist, he wouldn't do shit for the black community, just like Obama and Biden didn't do shit for the black community. They support the crime bill, which locked black people up. Now that they're running for, this is what I got out of both debates and both candidates as far as Democrats. They fucked up. Excuse my friend.
No, this is the late night in the Midland. A motherfucker can say fuck all he wants.
Okay, they fucked up. Now they want to make it right. That's pretty much what I get out of both of them.
You know what, Marcus? Here's the thing I've noticed.
Crime bill, and Kamala Harris done locked multiple people up. She bragged about it on the debate. And now you're talking about you want to have a prison reform bill. Like, okay, you trying to fuck up what you trying to fix what you fucked up, and you want us to vote for you?
You know, Marcus, not only did she put black people in jail over little bitty nonviolent crimes, but then she laughed about it.
Right.
That's some bullshit. And you know what I've noticed, Marcus, about the Democrats? About every 4 years, they decide they love the shit out of black people, and then black people vote for them, and they forget all about black people for the next 4 years till there's another election.
And I'm gonna tell you how they trigger them. I'm not one of the ones that they can just rock to sleep. They can kiss my ass with that shit.
And there ain't near as many as they think there are. Our black people are great Americans. They're smart Americans. They're proud Americans. And I'm glad to see y'all getting pissed off, and we're pissed off together, and we can go against these motherfuckers together. Go ahead. I'll give you the floor. I'm sorry.
But I'm gonna tell you how they rock the ones who are brainwashed back to sleep, because they use a black entertainer who they're paying and is paying them. A prime example, Cardi B. They say Cardi B is the queen. Okay, all she do is talk about sex. That bitch ain't my queen. That's Satanism. There's no way she could be the face of black people. You telling me that she's the face of black people?
That blows my mind. That blows my mind, Marcus.
That's the lowest at the bottom of the barrel. If that's the case, you might as well go get all the strippers in the strip club and say, "Oh yeah, we're going to speak for the black people." Fuck no, we can speak for our goddamn self. I'm gonna tell you what black people like as far as Trump goes. They like the fact that he stand up for what's right. He's not gonna back down from nobody. He's what American people want to be, as Ice Cube said it: rich, famous, and don't give a fuck.
That's it.
That's what everybody want to be. Everybody want to be that, especially black people.
Man, I cannot argue with that logic, and I've always wondered why, with all of the great black people we got in this country, successful entrepreneurs, you know, researchers, teachers, great politicians. Why the hell of all of the great black people in America, they want to pull out the goddamn Cardi B or somebody that throws, catches, or dribbles a ball as an example? Come on, bring out the real black heroes.
Hey, just like Faison Love said on a show I watch on YouTube called Hip Hop Citizen. He said if that's the case, they might as well have bought Too Short out to be our spokesperson. He's been talking about that since the 90s.
He has. He has. Man,
I would respect him more being our spokesman than Cardi B.
It's just such an insult to people, and it's an insult to all people that have a brain and all people that have morality, and it's a special insult to our great black Americans because they think they can play y'all.
And what's really sad is the fact that they want to use race as their main topic. But at the end of the day, I done heard Trump denounce on many occasions that he don't fuck with the Ku Klux Klan, he don't fuck with white supremacists or none of that. But I've never heard Biden or none of them say that they don't fuck with them. Matter of fact, the other day on the DNC or whatever that shit is with the black dude with the glasses on the news, he said that his life was successful because he had a black woman stock his shelves. If that ain't talking about slavery in the first instance, what the fuck is? I ain't never heard Donald Trump say nothing about no black woman stocking his shelves coming up.
Marcus, Marcus, how come Joe Biden can deliver the eulogy for a former grand wizard of the Ku Klux motherfucking Klan and not be racist, but Donald Trump was hand in hand, arm in arm with the black community right up until he got elected president, and now all of a sudden, because he's president against the Democrats, he's racist?
I'm gonna tell you what I know for sure, and I'm gonna tell you what I know for certain. Just like Floyd Mayweather said, everybody loved Donald Trump before he became president. He was with WWE. He was on WWE on multiple occasions, all that. But as soon as he ran for president, all of a sudden he's racist.
Yep.
That's bullshit. But people know Donald Trump for Donald Trump. Regardless of how bad they try to make Donald Trump look, just like they did in 2016, they're gonna do it again this year. They're not gonna win because they don't have a plan. The same shit that Donald Trump got going on, they wanna take credit for it, but they can't. They talking about they don't got tested. Donald Trump said all them fibrillators out. It's multiple tests. I live in Wilmington, North Carolina. I can go to the hospital and get tested for COVID. I can go to my doctor and get tested for COVID. Shit, hell, I can go to CVS and get tested for COVID. So they can't say there's no testing. And just like he said, if they wouldn't have closed the country down when they did, it'd have been way more casualties than it is now. People are going to die because it's a disease. But you lost way less people with them closing the country down when they did than you would if Biden or Harris would have been in the office. They would have kept the country open. And another thing I don't like is how you going to say mask mandate? That's a personal decision whether they want to wear a mask or not. You can't enforce that.
No, you can't. No, you can't. I am so glad you called in. I am so glad you called in. Can I give you one quick Floyd Mayweather story? Just a quick one.
Yeah.
I lived in Vegas for like 5 years. And, you know, I was 44. I was dating a girl who was 24. She was a model. She was really hot. We were in Vegas one night. We didn't know that Floyd was having a big party at the hotel. And we're walking through. I went to the bathroom. I came out, and there's Floyd Mayweather talking to my girlfriend. You know, she was standing there. Who wouldn't take a shot, right? And I walk out there, and Floyd Mayweather says, "Is this him?" Because, you know, she told him she had a boyfriend. And she said, yes. We shook hands. He goes, man, you know, this is a beautiful woman. You must be a hell of a guy. Do you want to come into our party? We had to go. I said, oh, man, I wish we could, Floyd, but we can't. I appreciate your work. You're a great athlete. And he goes, I know you don't want this, but I'm giving you this $200 right here to go buy this woman something really nice. I'm like, no. He goes, look, I'm dropping it on the floor. You either pick it up or not. And he shook my hand and he walked away. A lot of Floyd Mayweather take a lot of shit, but all I know is the Floyd Mayweather that I met is a hell of a guy.
Yeah, he cool as shit. You can tell he cool as shit. And see, a lot of people cool, but the media try to make them to be bad people.
You know why? Because Floyd Mayweather is a successful motherfucker, and he don't depend on nobody but Floyd motherfucking Mayweather.
Yep. Same with Donald Trump. You know,
Oh, Floyd's just like Donald Trump, isn't he? Floyd is rich, Floyd good looking, and Floyd don't give a fuck.
Right, and you need that as a leader. You need a leader who can stand on their own and don't need help. Like, the Democrats have never been for the people ever since politics was formed. They never been for the people, and a lot of people don't know that they are funded by the Ku Klux Klan. They were designed by the Ku Klux Klan to tear down America. A lot of people don't know their history.
Marcus, you are a gentleman and a scholar. I'm very impressed. I am so honored that you take time out of your life to listen to this program. Even more honored that you take time out of your life to call in.
Main dudes, man.
Say that again.
You're my main dude.
Man, Pharaoh is a badass motherfucker, isn't he?
He'll beat, man. He'll beat.
And I want to tell you what kind of a guy Pharaoh is. I'll tell you one more quick story if you got time. You got time for one quick story?
Yeah.
You know, Pharaoh got 500,000 subscribers. Pharaoh doesn't need Jeffrey Daugherty's ass. Jeffrey Daugherty can't do nothing for Pharaoh. But Pharaoh, I got his phone number right here in this phone, and I had one of these idiots that is always talking me down. I asked him to debate. He won't do it. But this guy challenged me to do a kickboxing match, and I'd been on Pharaoh's channel. Pharaoh heard about it, and Pharaoh said, listen, I'm going to bring you up to Buffalo. This when he was in Buffalo, and I'm going to train your ass for a month, and then you're going to go down there and kick the shit out of that cocky motherfucker. Now, it didn't happen. My wife wouldn't let me do it, but that's the kind of guy Pharaoh is. Pharaoh is straight up. He's real. He's straight.
He's good people, and he keep it real. I like the fact that he keep it real. I like genuine people anyway. I like because you can see the vibration of good and evil people.
You can.
That's really what we're fighting: good and evil.
Ain't that the truth? Marcus, do you have anything else for us tonight?
They keep believing in the man-written Bible, which they want to, but this fight is amongst us.
Marcus, I appreciate you calling. Do you got anything else for us, my brother?
Nah, that's it, man. You have a good one, man.
Marcus, don't let this be the last time you call in, okay? And if you're over there with Pharaoh, let him know that his white brother over here got his back.
Oh, yeah, you already.
All right. Thank you, my friend.
All right.
Hey, folks, I know that sometimes the language gets a little intense, but you know what? This is some real world shit right here. And real men and real women that have pissed off and have had enough, sometimes we're going to say some colorful language. It's the middle of the goddamn night. I understand, but we are not going to tone down the language on Late Night in the Heartland. It's Late Night in the Heartland, and I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, and if you could turn your sound down, we could hear you better. Are you there?
Yes, I am Joe Fabian.
Thank you for calling.
Thank you for taking me on the air.
You're welcome.
And to get to tonight's point, the Democratic Party, is it not those people who tell the cops to stand back as our city burns?
Yes, it is.
And isn't it the Democratic Party that makes sure that the people who think good cops follow the orders, but yet they do bad things to people? Is that not true?
You are 100% accurate.
And what's that, the Democrats?
It is the Democrats.
And they have some people who prosecute people that do not deserve it. So why are we going to vote for Kamala? It just doesn't make sense.
You know what? We are not going to vote for Kamala. we're going to vote for our great president. And I appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule to call in and make sure that we're all straight on the facts, because you gave it to us straight. You gave it to us up front, and we appreciate you. Do you have anything else for me tonight?
Yeah, that I can't think of. That will be all for me. You can go back to the show. I'll see you, Jeff.
Thank you so much for calling in. Don't make it the last time. The line is now open, and man, don't tell me that we don't got good people on this show. We got good people from all sides. And, you know, I am the most transparent broadcaster on YouTube. We'll get to that. It's late night in the heartland, and you're live with Jeffrey Daugherty.
Hey, dude, what's going on? I'm just like you. I tried to watch that debate, but Kamala Harris's face was so revolting and so disgusting. It made me physically sick to sit there and look at her face. I had to stop watching. 100% had to stop.
Yep, I couldn't do it anymore. I couldn't do it. It just made me, it didn't make me sick, but it made me feel things that I don't like to feel. There's something about that woman, and I don't think it's because she's a woman. I don't think it's because, she is an ethnic person. I don't even think it's because she's a smug, nasty bitch. I think there's something dark in her that just makes what's in me want to go on the attack and purge that filth from the face of the earth.
Whoa, okay.
I know. See, that's why I turned it off.
Oh,
She's an evil, wicked person. I don't even think it's a person. I don't think Kamala Harris is a real human being. I think it's some type of a creature.
Yeah, she has this like saccharine sweet smile, like, oh, look how sweet my smile is. But it's sour.
I've heard that many people have said to Kamala, you sure got a purty mouth. I've heard that.
All right. Okay. So I spent a day working on. I actually did some research, and I can throw it to you really, really quick. I called you yesterday, and I was going over some of the COVID-19 numbers.
Lay it down for us.
Okay. So check this out. If you're able to, you can Google. It's called COVID-19 provisional counts, and it takes you to the CDC website.
Yes.
And there's a little data there. Okay. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to break it down really, really quickly. So
do it.
The reason why I got into this research is because Brian Staveley, Dave Weiss, and Alex Stein have been in some street brawls recently. Dave Weiss went up against the cops. He went up against an army, a small army of police. And so he was in like a really, really tense situation. Dave Weiss was.
Yeah, we saw the video last night.
Yeah, it's crazy, and it's getting crazier and crazier. And half the people that call into Alex's show have like this COVID anxiety because the mask enforcement is getting really nasty. And so I know a lot of people don't call into you to talk about COVID, but they talk with Brian Staveley and Karen B and Dave and Alan. A lot of people call in and have a lot of anxiety, and it's sort of like this street level conflict because I couldn't even imagine. Dave is such a cool-headed guy. I couldn't imagine him getting into that conflict. I was shocked. I was absolutely shocked when I saw that video.
I was too.
So it's getting more in your face. A lot of people are having anxiety. And so when you get into a street debate with someone, it's kind of like street ball. It's kind of like a street fight. You're not there to exchange intellectual information with the other person. What you're doing is you're testing your reality frame against the other person's reality frame.
Wow.
And so what happens is that when Dave Weiss gets in a conflict with the police, they say, look, man, 200,000 people have died. You put on the mask or take a hike, buddy, because we're in a pandemic. And that was the point where I started to see his reality frame break down. Okay. And so the universe called to me, and it's actually the Ethernet, not the internet. The internet was actually called the Ethernet. So the ether called to me And this information just passed through my hands and my consciousness. And so here it is. So what you have to do is you have to build up a reality frame that is so strong that it imposes itself and overtakes the reality frame of the other person. Okay, and so if you look at that, see, and anybody can Google this, it's COVID-19 provisional counts. And you get a little chart and you just scroll down and it says that all deaths involving COVID-19 is 194,091. And then deaths from all causes is 2,087,504. Now, I'm not going to get into the details of the numbers. What I'm going to do is just summarize this as quickly as I can.
Keep going. You don't have to apologize. Just give it to us. You got all the time you need.
Okay. Straight up. Here's the way it breaks down. So I did the math. And if you died with COVID, your average lifespan was 75.42 years of age. Okay. That is the average age of someone who died under that 200,000 person category. Your average lifespan was 75.42 years of age. If you look at all causes of death, your average lifespan, according to the CDC, was 73.04 years of age. Okay, so when someone gets into a debate with you and said, well, 200,000 people have died, what you have to say is, this is what I was talking about yesterday, this idea of reframing. But you have to come up with a new reality frame and say, how much did COVID-19 cut short these people's lives? Because it's not about whether someone died, it's about whether their life was cut short. And so if they're like, well, I don't follow you, you can say, okay, well, if you look at something like the Spanish flu killed the equivalent of 15 million Americans. If it had hit in 2020, it would have killed 15 million Americans, and it shortened the lifespan on average of the people that it killed by 30 years. So it took away, that's what I was talking about yesterday.
Right.
It took 450 million years of human life were wiped off the face of the earth in the span of 1 year. How many years of human life has COVID-19 wiped off the face of the earth in 2020? And the answer is 0. It has not shortened the aggregate human lifespan at all. And so instead, what they're going to want to do is they're going to say, but COVID has killed 200,000 people.
Kamala said that tonight. I heard her say it.
Yeah, that people say this all the time as if it's like common knowledge, but this is the point of religious indoctrination. It's a frame game. It's a trick.
And 200,000 haven't died of COVID. CDC already told us those numbers were inflated by what, 90%?
Yeah, by 90%. But that argument will people will go, okay, well, 20,000 people died, so you're still killing Granny if you don't wear a mask.
Good point.
If you admit that 20,000 people died, you still want Granny to die. So this is why you have to.
So skip that and reframe it and just go with what you're saying. Continue. I like it.
Yeah. So the reframe, you constantly reframe back to how many people's lives were cut short by COVID-19,
and it's 0, right?
Lives? And the answer is 0. 0 people's lives. And they can say, well, what about all the young people that died? Well, you couldn't arrive at that statistic that I showed you, because let's say that like a 10-year-old kid died from COVID-19. Well, you would have to have someone on the flip side of the average age, which is 72. You'd have to have a 120-year-old person who died of COVID-19 for it to average out to 76. Point being, you don't have to know all this. It's just statistical stuff. But when you're getting into these street battles with people, you have to stand firm and say, COVID-19 has not shortened the life of one single person in the entire world. The Spanish flu shortened the lifespan by 600 million. It's 0. There is no pandemic. We're not in a pandemic. And you keep going back to cutting people's lives short or shortening people's lives. It has not taken the life away. Now, there's an ancillary part to this argument. There's like I'm trying to think of the word, but so if you can get somebody, if you can break through someone's ice, you can explain to someone, look, when you get old, what happens is that your body starts to break down and life cannot sustain itself. When you get really old, when you get into your 70s and your 80s and your 90s, you're about to be a corpse one way or the other. What happens is that as you get older, diseases start infecting your body, okay? when you look at an old person, they don't have an immune system. Their bodies are going to be full of bacteria, full of funguses, full of influenza. The human body is packed with diseases when it gets to old age, because life cannot sustain itself anymore. You are on death's doorstep the older you get, and the probability of dying goes to 100% as you get older. Okay, so what you have is old people are basically they are basically these big meat bags that are being decomposed by nature, because as you get closer and closer to death, you start to decompose while you're still alive. You start to decompose, not all the way, you're still alive, but the point is that something is going to kill them. And so if you tested for every possible disease in old people, you would find bacteria, you would find funguses, you'd find COVID, and you'd find SARS, and you'd find MERS. You would find, if you went looking, you would find lots of diseases. And one of those diseases is going to tip you over the edge. If the wind blows too hard and you fall on your hip, it's going to kill you. If it gets really cold at night, you can freeze it. You cannot sustain your life. So when you look at these people that are in these CDC categories, and they say, "Oh, look, these people died with COVID-19," it's like, well, then COVID-19 isn't lethal. It does not shorten your lifespan. It doesn't cut your life short. Dying in a car accident cuts your life short.
And if you look at the numbers, if you look at just the raw numbers, a statistical argument could be made that COVID actually extends the lifespan of humans.
Yeah, you could, from that data, you could extrapolate that COVID-19 actually causes people to live longer.
And that's from Lady Justice. That's from Lady Justice in the chat room.
Yeah, and you could make that argument, but to go back to the point is that because what I want to do is I have to switch jobs and move out of town, and I can't be involved in any of this truther stuff or calling stuff anymore for a while. So if anybody knows Owen Benjamin, Dave Weiss, Max Eichen, James True, Andrew Kaufman, Ramsey Paul, Eric Dubay, Del Bigtree, Alex Jones, Stefan Molyneux, or anyone on Donald Trump's team that you can reach with this information and say, look, Donald Trump, if he wanted to tomorrow, he could sign an executive order saying there will be no more masks, there will be no more lockdowns, there will be no more social distancing. And Donald Trump himself.
Okay. Go ahead and turn the corner and bring it home, okay?
Do what?
Turn the corner and bring it home, okay?
Yeah, okay. So the point is that we've got to enter into this new reality frame, and we've got to get it out there and get this in people so that we can end this mind virus that has infected the world. The point is that we can beat COVID-19 with this information. That's it. That's all we need.
And you know what? You're exactly right. That is great information. And I've promised myself I'm going to go back into the show and pull out highlights and put them out on YouTube. And this is definitely a highlight call. I really appreciate it. That's great numbers. Right. I'm not a numbers guy, and we need to hear that kind of stuff. Thanks so much, and thanks for being a great part of this community.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye-bye. Folks, that's a good call. I know it got a little long, but when it's good, it can be long. And some ladies have told me if it's long, it's always good. I don't know if that's true or not. It's late night in the heartland. You're live with Jeffrey Daugherty.
Hey, Jeff, Social Observer again.
Hello, my brother. How you doing?
How you doing, my brother?
I couldn't be any better.
I did tell you one thing about that last caller. Great call. But he needs to understand one thing about the PCR tests. They are the guy that invented those tests. Even admitted that they're faulty.
Right.
So what we're dealing with is just an ultimate scam when it comes to statistics. You know that book that came out in 1954, How to Lie with Statistics.
With statistics, yep.
It's literally what we're dealing with right now. Everyone's lying with numbers, and that's the game they're playing. They're trying to convince everyone, instilling fear into people with numbers. And when it gets to that point, how do we overcome science versus because science is a method. It's not a conclusion. And we got all these so-called experts that are telling us that we have to rely on science when it's just literally just a way to reach a conclusion.
Yep.
I don't know. I want to hear your opinion on the fact that this whole COVID nightmare is basically just it's a way to confuse people. It's a way to instill fear.
It really is, and it's got a lot of people don't want to do this. A lot of people don't want to get down to this, but we say there's all these cases, and yet we know that the test that they're using doesn't even work. So we really don't know how many cases there are. We've got actually a rather light flu year, people getting the flu, people catching colds, and all of a sudden it's turned into a pandemic to shut down our country, and it is absolutely a travesty. It's a sham. It's a mockery. It's a Travis-shamockery. And I can't believe that we're stupid enough to fall for it, but I think they've overplayed their hand, and people are starting to wake up. And when you got David Weiss, mild-mannered David Weiss, get in the face of the 5-0, the people that just want to mind their own business have woken up, and woe to you that are in the deep state. You're about to reap the whirlwind.
Yeah, exactly. And David Icke, too, because David Icke is getting in deep, man. He is on the front line. I thought he got arrested when he did that big protest. And, supposedly Trump put out a tweet today saying he supports Boris Johnson, how he thinks he's a great guy. Boris Johnson is a piece of shit. I think he might have died.
I don't know anything about Boris Johnson, so I can't make a comment to that. And
no, I'm just saying, I think he might have been like there might have been a clone that replaced him, because he was not about all these shutdowns. They're sending in stormtroopers into bars in the UK, dude.
Wow.
It's fucking crazy.
It's rough. It really is.
Australia? Look at Australia. They got a $1 trillion payoff from China in Victoria, Melbourne, and follow the money on that shit.
They are locked down tight in Australia.
Yeah, they got stormtrooper cops, supposedly are Chinese fucking UN agents. I'm telling you, man. And they put the fucking weird helmets over them so they don't fucking see that they're Chinese.
Isn't that interesting?
It's crazy, man. I'm telling you, they got Chinese infiltration going on in Australia right now.
And you have to understand this. I was going to say this, and we're a little bit of a lag in our phone call. And Tracy just made the point in the chat room. Donald Trump will constantly call his enemies nice guys and say nice things about him because he's read Sun Tzu, Art of War. If you haven't, you should. I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to the audience. And
I believe it.
In mass. Great call. You got anything else for us?
Well, just one thing about, do you know about Tom Fitton getting appointed?
I do. Cynthia told me that. And there's another shot. Cynthia told me that just right before we went on air.
Do you think he's going to go after these scumbag judges?
Well, I think that having a guy from Judicial Watch appointed is a big step in the right direction. If I could paraphrase the fake moon landing, it's one small step for the administration, but one giant leap for mankind.
Now we just got to get James O'Keefe from Project Veritas to go after all these. He needs to be the guy.
Cynthia loves
FBI director.
Cynthia loves James O'Keefe. And not to interrupt you, but Sherry B. Close just sent us a nice $5 super pow chat. Sherry, a big salute for you. Thank you so much. You see the super chat information right there on the screen, and we appreciate you very, very much. Great call. Really a great call. Any closing words before I move on to the next one? People are complaining that they can't get through. Hey, that's how it is late night in the heartland.
Hey, I'll let some other people get through, man. I just wanted to let you know that we're gonna win this war.
You know what? We've already won. We just have to hold the line till November 4.
There you go, brother.
Take care, my friend. Thanks for calling. Wow. I'm thinking I'm going to look tomorrow for some software solutions and maybe get another line. But if we get another line, you're still going to call in and be on hold. So, please feel free to call 813-534-0083. If you hear me talking to someone, that means that the one single only line we have is in use. And wow, what a great audience. What great calls. And what an interesting time to be alive, ladies and gentlemen. I have never felt so good about our country. I've never felt so good about the world. We're on the precipice of the great American century and the great human century. It is late night in the heartland, and you are live with Jeffrey Daugherty.
Hello.
Hel-
Jeff, it's Melinda.
Hello, Melinda.
Actually, I called the other night.
Mindy, yes, ma'am.
Yes. How you doing?
I am super duper.
Good to hear. When I came into the, when I saw you live, I jumped right on, and I had seen you posting, and sorry about calling you out on that. I didn't mean to.
That's all right. I know it makes a lot of people uncomfortable, but it's just kind of the way we do it here.
I don't know. Anyway, so I was like thinking about back in 1990, like how life used to be. I actually miss the 90s a lot. I'm from Denver, Colorado. So I think it was like when Clinton was president, it just seemed like, times were a lot easier and just things were a lot different. And this was before the Tennessee McVeigh bombing and Columbine. I actually was in school, in the neighboring school that when Columbine happened. So,
did you see? Can I interrupt you real quickly? Did you see all that stuff go down from your neighboring position?
I had friends that went there. My school got put down on lockdown. It was pretty traumatizing. But it was on April 20th, and a lot of the kids that I knew, they were stoners from Denver. So we would go to the Capitol to preach. That was kind of the thing in Colorado, to go preach every 420 at the Capitol. So a lot of my friends were there. So I didn't lose close friends, but I did have acquaintances that went there. And
okay,
yeah,
so you couldn't say that you saw or heard the circumstances that took place there.
I didn't see or hear, in person.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I was asking.
Yes, of course. Yeah. It was it was hard. It was a hard time. But I don't know. It was like a peaceful time, and then that happened, and then after that shooting, there was like shooting after shooting, and then just all the change. My dad works for Lockheed Martin, and I remember they used to be Martin Marietta, and
right.
And when it was quote Democratic time, they weren't all about. They were top secret, but not as secret, hush. But now my dad can't tell me much of what he does, but I grew up around. A lot of. How to explain the town that I lived in? It was like there was a lot of my neighbors and kids that I grew up with that their parents they worked for Lockheed. They're all engineers. So I just kind of picked up on some knowledge today.
I think we're losing you, Mindy.
I'm sorry. Just my kids are. One of my kids is. It's kind of.
Well, we appreciate you calling. Do you have anything else to share with us?
Yeah, I was just trying to say that it's just crazy how we went from democratic times and just a quantum leap of everything.
It is very, very interesting. No doubt about it at all. We appreciate you calling in. I hope it won't be the last time. Thanks for sharing that great information. And as you know, Mindy just got off and the phone lines are open. We're going to take a little break at 1:30. That's, about 20 minutes from now. So until then, we'll have the phone lines open. The phone line is only one. It's 813-534-0083. You're listening to Late Night in the Heartland. We're inviting you to unindoctrinate overnight. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, your fearless host. Divine Matrix is in the chat room saying, what's the topic? Well, Divine Matrix, that depends upon what you want the topic to be. The callers set the topic. Just be polite and be interesting. me. It's Late Night in the Heartland. You're live with Jeffrey Daugherty.
Hey, man, social observer guy.
Hey, brother.
Hey, what do you think about Ilhan Omar? Like, the media is not even touching that.
Well, because the media is bought and paid for, so it doesn't surprise me that she is not, addressed. And the fact of the matter is that she should be in jail. She came over here fraudulently. She married her brother. She's been convicted. It's been proven that she's complicit with ballot harvesting. And if it wasn't for the deep state judiciary that President Trump is trying to clean out and the deep state elements of the Democrat Party, she wouldn't be there. She'd be kicked out of Congress on her headscarf.
Yeah, well, it's actually, what I've heard is it's more of an Epstein effect. She's a Qatari agent.
Ooh, now that is very, very interesting. Is that just interesting speculation, which we certainly allow, or do you have some actual data that you've seen?
The guy on Twitter, Emar, he's the guy that calls out all the deep state, what do you want to call them, agents of the Middle East. But
gotcha.
I mean, I forget his name. I was subscribed to him, and then I got banned. So obviously, I had 3,000 followers on Twitter, and now I have like 24.
Oh wow! Time to reload, huh?
Yeah, I had to go and redo my Twitter.
Well, every now, Twitter.
Man,
yeah,
I'm a digital warrior, man. I got to do what I got to do.
That's so important. People don't people ask, what can I do? Oh, this is a great segue for me. What can we do? Folks, it doesn't even take a whole lot. Today in 10 minutes, literally in about 10 minutes, Cynthia and I, we set up a meeting in our community between the Republican and the Democrat candidates for sheriff to come here and talk and answer questions from the populace, and it took us 10 minutes.
Oh man, that's awesome! I joined. You know who Sheriff Mack is?
Do I know who Sheriff Mack is, bruh? Who you talking to? Do I know who Sheriff Mack is?
Oh yeah, I signed up for his. Like I support him.
We took the class. We're taking the class. It's I think 6. It's not a cheap class. I think it was like $400, but we took it. And if every American, you know what? I'm going to say it. I know you're going to hate me. Put your Bible down and read this book right here. The County Sheriff, America's Last Hope by Sheriff Richard Mack. Put your Bible down, bitches. Yeah. Read this book.
It's awesome. I got it. I love it.
Yep.
I love it.
Yep.
Hey, one last question. Kind of more on the esoteric level.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that?
Wait a second. Just for some reason, Mindy Valen says, Jeff, you have lost a fan. You're fake. Well, Mindy, why don't you call the damn show and tell me why I'm fake instead of sitting in there trolling? All right, let's get back to it. I'm sorry.
I'll let Mindy call. Let's do a 3-way.
Double entendre, triple entendre, but moving right beyond.
One esoteric question.
Yes.
Do you think all the holy books were actually just puzzle books? for one story for us to figure out?
I think, and I'm an expert on the Bible. I have 100,000 hours of study in the biblical text, and I really shouldn't even talk to anybody that doesn't have at least half that. But I'm not that. I'm not that guy. I am an expert in the biblical text, and the one thing I know about I'm an expert in the Abrahamic texts. I haven't read the Quran, but I should.
The three
Yeah,
books, right?
but this one thing I know: the Bible is a puzzle. The Bible is a trap. It's what do they call that thing on? It's an Enochian box, like on Supernatural. It's meant to draw you in, keep you confused, keep you locked in the fear and guilt control matrix. But it does have some deeply encoded truths in there to show you that it is doing that to you. But you got to be really, really deep to pick those up.
And the ultimate bird, like they have to give us the symbolism in order for us to realize that we're being lied to.
Every good liar has to drop a few truths.
Right. So technically, Jesus was probably a six-dimensional alien that came down here to try and tell us the real deal.
Or he was not real.
Yeah. I believe he's real. I believe he was real. I know you don't believe.
You know what? You just said on the Christian Whistleblower channel that you believe Jesus is real, and I haven't cut you off. I haven't banned you because we don't roll like that. If you believe Jesus is real,
opinions, right?
That's great. I don't believe Jesus was real, but you're still calling and we're still talking. That means that we have this thing called diversity amidst unity. You're my brother.
I believe Jesus was like the son, right? Like son of, S-O-N.
Yep.
If you think about it,
and I'll tell you what, Jesus can make a hell of a taco.
Right? The algorithmic God that is not Jesus. Jesus is just the fucking protector of this world, maybe.
Jesus makes a hell of a taco too.
Oh, hell yeah, man. I'm down.
What else you got for us before we move on?
Oh, no, I'm just bullshitting, man. I'm having a good time.
This is great, and I love it. We got I think there's a lot of people out there that want to get through, so we appreciate you calling. Call back later if we get a sag in the calls. Be glad to talk to you as always.
Right, have fun.
Take care.
Thank you.
I'm having so much fun. I reinitiated the polar plunge today, ladies and gentlemen, and it's time. Polar plunge has to be at the most 57 degrees. I'm pretty damn sure that the lake at 10 o'clock at night Central Time was less than 57 degrees. Jeff, you're a fake. Jeff, you're a phony. I'm the only personality on YouTube that people hate, and yet I'm on here 3 hours every night. And all these people that know I'm fake, all these people that know I'm a fraud, all these people that know I'm wrong, all these people that know all the reasons why I'm not and I ain't and I can't, not one of them loudmouth bitches got the balls to make the motherfucking calls. Where you at, bitches? I'm calling you out. Where you at? Where you at? All I hear is crickets, crickets, and more crickets. All right. I feel better. I had to get that little rant off my chest. It's late night in the heartland. We're 10 minutes from a little break. And I got some nice stuff for you for the break. It's very interesting. It's very appealing. It's just like a 2-minute break, but we're taking calls all night long and sometimes at least twice nature calls. And those are ones that I do have to answer. It is late night in the heartland. You're live with Jeffrey Daugherty.
Hey, how's it going? Kamala Harris is more than just not black. Not only is she not black, but her dad even wrote that her family was slave traders in Jamaica.
Yes.
So she actually helped bring the slaves here. She's not only not a former slave family, she's a former slave trader family.
That's truth.
And, her mother there is from Sri Lanka, province of India there that is highly influential with the Chinese there. And of course, you know, you had Joe Biden's son, Hunter, get that $1.5 billion from China. I don't think any of that's a coincidence.
Of course, it's not a coincidence.
Right. That name Harris is real important too, because she doesn't take her husband's name, which is Emhoff. And the reason for that is because the real Harris line in America is real important historically. Okay, there was.
Tell us about
Clara
that, please. I don't know this.
Yeah, Clara Harris was with Lincoln. She was his special guest at Ford's Theater and was sitting up in the box with Rathbone when he was assassinated.
Ooh.
That's the real Harris line. Okay, that Harris line gave you the Harris pole, the Harris steam thresher back in World War I that basically transformed the American heartland, you know, with the tractors that they built. That's a real famous line. They're related to the Gardners, and they're related to a guy I'm writing his biography about. Really important people. And she uses that name to identify with them. Okay, and that's why she doesn't take her husband's name. That Harris name is real famous and real important in American history.
Wow. So is it like a signal to us, those of us that know, to take note?
Yeah, it's to certain people. It's to certain people that would think, oh, okay, so she's related to us, so we'll pull for her.
I gotcha.
People in your government, and you know, and then entertainment, that sort of thing.
Makes perfect sense. So do we know if, and I won't even ask that question because I don't know if women allowed in the boule, and is she in the boule? But she's not even black, so she wouldn't be in the boule, would she?
I don't know what the boule is. I don't know.
Boule is basically black Freemasonry / Illuminati.
No, I don't buy that for a second. There's no the Illuminati thing that people make up and blaming the Freemasons is actually blaming the historical founders of the country because the Freemasons made this country, and that's an attack from the Queen. Think about this for a second. Okay, you have the Queen that was the slave traders in Jamaica. Right now in Jamaica, the Queen is still head of the state, just like in Canada. They just announced this year, in order to defend Kamala, that Jamaica was going to take the Queen out from being head of state. That was just in the news just like 2 weeks ago.
Right.
So Queen will no longer be head of state in Jamaica. And that, of course, is for Kamala's benefit. You know, and then think about the historic ties between Hong Kong and China. Okay, that's the Queen's drug trade, and we kicked the Queen or her ancestors out, King George, back in 1776. So they felt that they could attack and steal from us, like they're doing with that Harris name right there, and that's for knights and peerage that do that right now. And what they do is they'll blame the Freemasons, they'll blame Bill Gates and all this, and pretend like Bill Gates is a bad guy. But Bill Gates is related to the Harris and Gardner family.
You don't think that Bill Gates is a bad guy?
No, I know for a fact he's not, because I'm writing the biography of a guy that knows him. And he was at his, Bill Gates was at his wedding with Joe Jacobs.
I don't think I can agree with you on that one, but that's okay. We don't have to be in agreement here. But I feel it's incumbent upon me to point out that I don't think that Bill Gates is a good guy.
No, I don't think he's a good guy in the sense that, like, maybe some of his politics are a little bit too liberal. But he's not the people that, or he's not the family that they're being made out to be.
Yeah, but can I ask you a question? And I'm not trying to be volatile, but how many little children do you have to kill with poison before you're a bad guy?
No, a lot of that's a setup. None of that's true. Okay. Think about the name Gates for a second. Go back to 1776. The Gates family literally came here at Plymouth in the 1620s, okay, or 1607 or whatever. So you go all the way back to Plymouth, and you've got 1620. You've already got the Gates family here. Okay. Now think about Horatio Gates. Every single war in this country has had a General Gates. That's that family. That's that line. They don't want to kill you, okay?
Well, why, if they don't want to kill us, then why is Bill Gates probably the most prominent proponent and activist, along with Ted Turner, of depopulation?
No, they're twisting
yes.
what he's saying.
Okay.
Twisting what he's saying. I know there's that TED Talk and all that crap. I'm fully aware of that.
You know, when the
But
words
also
come
the
out
guy
of his
who grew
mouth,
up
it's
with
hard to say that they're not coming out of his mouth. I respect you. You're you're obviously an individual, intelligent guy. And we could have an interesting talk about this, but yeah, I mean, the Bill Gates that you're talking about is certainly not the Bill Gates that we're able to see. And again, I sometimes it's hard for me to believe what people say when what they do is speaking too loudly.
Well, the Queen and her ancestors is that they've attacked every generation of Americans and the people that rebelled against them and the families of Thomas Jefferson and all of them. And like I said, I'm writing the biography of the guy who's related to these people, to Admiral Byrd and Bill Gates, and he really knows all these people. You know, he's the nephew of Frank Sinatra. I mean, Ava Gardner.
Mm-hmm.
And he's saying that they attack every generation of his family, and they always call the good people the bad people when they do it. So they'll attack the Freemasons, and they'll make them look to be the bad people, and they're not. Okay, they're the people that actually kicked the Queen out of the country and gave you freedom.
Of course, we're probably going to disagree on that one too. And I'm not trying to cut you off. I'm just making sure that these the people that listen here don't get mad at me. I don't agree with you there, but please continue. You're very polite and you're very interesting. That's the only two rules we have.
Yeah. So for example, okay, this guy that I'm writing about, he was abducted as a 4-year-old by the family Osborne. Okay. And the Osborne is the peerage, which is in England, the Queen, the royal families have people that they give positions that can be inherited for generations. Okay. And that's what's called their peerage. Well, the Queen's peerage is Osborne, and the Osbornes have been attacking the Harrises for generations in this country. And the Osbornes abducted my friend that I'm writing about as a 4-year-old boy. And that's why, and they killed a bunch of kids up there in Detroit, around the Detroit area.
It wasn't Ozzy that abducted him, was it?
Well, they're related. That's why right there in Detroit, you have Sharon Osbourne on Graham's radio station, WJR and Channel 4, right there in Detroit.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's why you have Senator Graham. And Graham Media that runs WJR and Channel 4, their CEO is Emily Barr, and you have her relative Barr as the Attorney General right now.
Right.
That's not a coincidence. And then you have Osborne running the sex crimes division of the FBI right now, Mike Osborne, and Gina Osborne was in a special unit of that as well. None of that's a coincidence. That's all the same people right there who attack little children, including the guy that I'm writing about.
Wow.
So this is the real history of your family or of your country, okay? And it's all being disguised and hidden by the Queen and by the people and the drug runners, including the CIA and the Senate that runs your drugs in this country.
Well, now you've got to something that we can agree upon.
Sure. I mean, Robert Tosh Plumley, pretty much talks about how he ran drugs, right?
Yep.
So he tells you, and he's a part of that. And he's also very much familiar with the guy I'm writing about too. Right?
Absolutely. Now we do have a break coming up, so can you please turn the turn and bring it home for us? It's been a great call and we appreciate it.
Yeah, sure. I could go on for hours, so I don't know where to bring it home at, but basically, not the Freemasons, not the people who founded your country that are doing these things. It's the people that we kicked out that's attacking this country. It's the Queen, and that's why you have all your knights from England. They come in, they steal money, and they take it back to England. Okay. And that's why you have Kamala Harris using the Harris name, the famous Harris name. Okay, the Harrises that are related to the Gardners and they're related to Bill Gates and all that, because they get fame and prestige out of that. Remember, Harris was with Lincoln, Ford's Theater.
That's a great point.
That's the real deal right there of what's really going on. So,
hey, it's been almost
a million corrections, but that's one good point for you for today.
That is a good one. And, it's almost a 12-minute call. It's a great call. I invite you to call back often because you have some great information. We do appreciate you very much. I'm going to go ahead and take a break here. One of our sponsors is going to, we're going to take a look at this. One of our sponsors. We love the C60 Purple Power. They're great people, and they got some nice videos that I can show why I answer the call from nature, because nature's calling, and that's one that typically you really got to answer. So as you hear from our great sponsor, C60 Purple Power, we'll be right back. And I think it's a minute. So, you know, I got to go fast, but our great sponsor, C60 Purple Power. And when we get back, well, let me go ahead and run this too along. Well, I can't do it, but anyway, I'm Jeffrey Daugherty. It is 12:30 a.m. We'll be back for another hour and a half, and I'll be right back with you. As soon as I play it.
I love to run. I just love to be outside and smelling the fresh air and hearing the birds and being in nature, taking in the scenery. It's probably one of my favorite things to do. But I had to stop running actually for quite a while. I was diagnosed with some serious autoimmune conditions. I suffered from chronic fatigue and just a lack of energy, and my body just couldn't take the stress of running anymore. In fact, I didn't really even have energy to do everyday activities, and so that was tough. But I found C60 Purple Power, and what I didn't realize was how much it would help my body to start healing itself. I was able to reduce my thyroid medication by 2/3. My energy level came back. I felt like running again. So I slowly started to get out there more and more every week, running a little bit more, pushing myself a little further, climbing those hills, reaching new heights. C60 Purple Power has really helped me return to the things I love, and that has meant all the world to me.
That is our great sponsor, C60 Purple Power. And I've actually, you know, I ran that spot earlier today, checking it out only, you know, so I could see it for time. And I did, you know, I'm doing the fasting, you know about the fasting, but I'm also doing something called HIIT training, high intensity interval training. And what I'm doing now is a sprint workout. And the reason I bring that up is I was sprinting today, and it hit me that, you know, I haven't been able to do this without having a throbbing knee. I haven't been able to do this without having some real serious issues. But since I have been taking the C60 Purple Power, you know, I was able to go out, and I've now done it a couple of weeks in a row. And what this lady's saying, long story short, is true. It's a great product. If you want to order it, the ordering information is scrolling along the bottom of the screen. And I welcome you to either go to their channel and use the code TCW10, or you can go to jeffreydaugherty.com and click right on the logo, and there's a great discount built right in. What a great show we got going. What a great show we got going. And I mean, we got people that don't agree with us. That's fine. But here, you know, like I said before, we're the most transparent. I expose myself, not like that, but where are all the haters? It shows you who they really are. The phone lines are back open. The phone line, the one little lonely phone line, is back open. It's 813-534-0083. I welcome you to call in. As you can see, people that disagree with us, what do? We take their call. We're very polite with them. If you're polite and you're interesting, you're in. And we might have to add a third rule: be polite, be interesting, and at least be pretty much sober, okay? Be polite, be interesting, and try not to be trashed. Try not to be trashed. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. We're here. We're open for business at 813-534-0083. Got some great programming coming up, and we appreciate each and every one of you being here And it's an honor. It's a privilege to be your Christian whistleblower. And, we've been talking a little bit about masks, and it's so important to realize what truth is, ladies and gentlemen. And there's so many people, well, you're going to save grandma. Don't you want to save grandma? Ladies and gentlemen, we've been sold a bill of goods, and you've got to understand that you're not being told the truth. And finally, doctors are coming out. Finally, doctors are tired of lying to people. And not only do the masks not do anything, they are harming us, and they're harming our children. A medical doctor is warning that bacterial pneumonias are on the rise from mask wearing, ladies and gentlemen. A group is suing the mayor of Tulsa, Oklahoma, just up the road here, G.T. Bynum, and the Tulsa Health Department executive director, saying that the city's mask mandate is harmful to healthy people only because it is. The Activist Post reports that the group includes business owners and 2 doctors who are asking the city to immediately repeal the mask mandate, which was passed by the city council last month. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm glad they're doing it, but don't wait for these people to do these things. Simply take off your mask. If they ask you, why aren't you wearing a mask? Tell them, I have a medical reason not to wear one, because you don't want to get bacterial pneumonia. And do like David said, tell them that you also have a moral reason not to wear it. Tell them it doesn't work. Tell them that COVID has not statistically cut the life of even one American. It's time for us to stand up and start telling the truth. And it's time for us to start standing up for our constitutional rights. If every damn one of us, if all of a sudden Costco was full of people without masks, what do you think Costco would do? They would start checking out people. If Trader Joe's was suddenly filled with people without masks, what would Trader Joe's do? They would start taking your money. And guess what? If Trader Joe's won't take your money, Trader Joe's has competitors. Go to the competitors. Stacy Marie says, yes, sir, we got a band together. Come together. I missed that note, but I'm not a singer. I don't even play one on YouTube. It's Late Night in the Heartland. You're live with Jeffrey Daugherty.
What's going on, man?
It's a great night in the Heartland. You're live. What's on your mind? This show's all about you.
Yeah, I'm just wondering, do you think all these numbers and correlations they put out there with these celebrities and stuff, do you really think it's something kind of encoded when they're talking to each other? Or what do you think it is? How Chadwick Boseman, or we just had a certain other one with Van Halen just passing away, right, the other day.
He died at 65, right?
Yeah, and his birthday was Kobe Bryant's the day he died. There's just a bunch of little things that just they go together in such a weird way.
They do seem to go together in a weird way. They do seem to go together in a weird way. I've had Zachary Hubbard on this channel. He's, the Gematria guy. And part of me says yes. And if the cabal thinks it is something, then that does make it something. Is it a real something, or is it a thing that they use to distract us? Is it a thing they use to get us, distract is the best word I can think of. These are the things that go through my mind. Is it a thing? Is it a real thing? Yes, it's a real thing. But is it a real thing that helps us, or is it a real thing that distracts us? That's what goes on in my mind. But you have identified something that is there.
Yeah, the whole Chadwick Boseman. Did you follow that one?
I did not. Please enlighten me on that.
Because when he passed away, I forget the exact.
Oh, he's the Black Panther movie guy.
Yeah, he's the Black Panther. He died on the birthday of the guy who wrote the Black Panther, I believe.
Can I say something? This just jumped to me. The Black Panther guy, Chadwick Boseman, and a great actor, he dies. Is that some way telling us that this whole Black Lives Matter, this whole divide and conquer along race, that they know that they're about to die and this is their last great act of defiance?
Yeah, it seems kind of convenient. I mean, for sure.
But you're telling me he died on the birthday of the guy that wrote Black Panther?
I'm pretty sure it was, yeah,
Wow.
his birthday, and he passed away. He also played Jackie Robinson, number 42.
Oh.
And they moved Jackie Robinson Day to the day he died, like before he died on that day because of COVID or whatever. They changed Jackie Robinson Day to that day. Then he died on that day. And that day apparently was the day MLK gave his speech too.
And in support of your point, George Floyd dies at 8:46, which is the time that the first plane allegedly hit the tower on 9/11.
Mm-hmm. And then there was that one Trump supporter who died, got shot at 8:47. I mean, yeah, there's.
And Kobe was number 24, says Heavy Arms. Kobe was number 24.
Mm-hmm. It's just strange. I don't know. It's like, are they trying to put that out there so it makes people who look into these things look nuts? Or what is it? I don't know.
They are
you can't ignore it.
You can't ignore it. And even though I'd like to be frank with you, but it is being put out there. And the objective evidence says that it's being put out there intentionally. Now, is it being put out there? Why is it being put out there is my question. Is it being put out by good guys to help us, or is it being put out by bad guys to distract us in a ultimate attempt to hurt us? What do you think? What's your opinion?
I don't know. That's what I'm trying to figure out. I don't know if they're
you and me both, man.
They're trying to signal this to somebody else so they know and we're picking up on it, or they know they'll pick up on it. So if you go start spewing out these numbers, then you just look crazy.
Wendy says it's a wink, wink, nod, nod, that they're kind of playing with us. But we want you to know that we know, and we want you to know that, yeah, it's weird, man, but it's real.
And it's like, even though that you know, everyone else around you will think you're nuts.
That's right. So are you willing to be the guy or the girl that takes the shit? And trust me, it is not fun to be that guy, but I'm willing to be that guy out of service to humanity and out of just being fed the fuck up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's a couple channels out there that are trying to put these. I don't know if you're familiar with like IPS. You know him?
IPS, is that a channel name?
Infinite Plane Society.
Infinite Plane Society. And he does content of the type you're talking about?
Yeah, he does a lot of the correlation with the numbers and stuff.
I'm going to write it down. Take a look at it.
Coincidence Theory 101 or whatever he calls it. He's got a bunch of people in his think tank trying to figure all this stuff out, and he goes live pretty much every night. And he's pretty good. I think a lot of people don't like him. I'm not sure why.
Listen to this one from Heavy Arms. Also, he died on 1/26, and LeBron passed him in scoring 2 days before that, and then he died 2 days before he had to go to court for the opium scandal. Lots of numbers.
Yeah, and they had what's his name? Derek Chauvin went to court at 9/11, and now he just got out, right, on bail.
That's crazy.
And 11/22.
11/20. See, those things are intentional. But what do they mean? Here's something that I did earlier. Tracy Dyer says, take 2020, the number 2020, divide it by 30330, which is Biden's donate text. Give Joe money. 30330. You divide 2020 by 2020 by 30330, and I bet you can guess what number you get.
No, you divide it by 666.
Well, no,
text number.
but it still works the other way. If you divide 2020 by 30330, you get 666.
Okay, yeah, I see what you're saying. Okay.
So is that? This is my question. Is that just a weird, freaky? Is it a weird, freaky coincidence, or do they do that shit on purpose?
That's what I'm saying. I don't know. It's like they have to be, right?
But here's the thing I have to say. Here's the thing I have to say, and I don't want to upset anybody, but I have traced it back to its origin. That's what I do. I trace things back to their origin. And Gematria is part of Lurianic Kabbalah, which is black magic. That's what
Yeah,
my
someone
research shows.
Say Kabbalah Harris earlier, and I thought that was funny.
Kabbalah Harris. That is kind of funny, isn't it? I'm with you. I just don't know, and this thing's messing with me a little bit. I just don't know what the truth is, but I know they're not giving it to us straight. That's for damn sure.
Mm-hmm.
And you've identified something that is out there.
They're trying to predict what days maybe something might happen on.
Yeah.
That's why I was bringing up IPS, because he's trying to figure out, like, he's got some dates that, like, wonder if anything's going to happen. I remember, like, before 3/11 happened, he was calling out 3/11, and that's, like, the day they declared the pandemic on 3/11.
Interesting. I don't get into the date setting.
13 days before the election or whatever.
Yeah. I was in Christianity for 20 years, and they're great for setting dates on this. I find out the people in our genre are just as great for setting dates, and I'm not going to get into that. And I think it's silly. And Tracy makes a good point, like the Nostradamus stuff. He was a confirmed Jesuit agent. They are just like his quatrains. They're vague enough that you can almost read anything you want into them. But again, they're real. What are they there for? I think that's part of the fun of what we do.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else you want to share with us? It's been a great call.
Not that I could think of. Is there anything you want to talk about? I'd like to keep talking. I can't.
No, and we got people lining up and waiting, I think. So I'll go ahead and let you go. I appreciate you being here, and don't let it be the last time, okay?
All right, man. Take it easy.
Take care. It's 12:48 here in the Heartland. We're going to go till 2 a.m. That means we have just a little over an hour. So if you want to call, pick up the line. It's 813-534-0083. See how easy it is? It is late night in the Heartland, and you're live with Jeffrey Daugherty.
Hey, what's up, man?
All good stuff. What do you want to talk about tonight?
I was wanting to talk about okay, I'm kind of blanking out, but
That's all right.
I wanted to talk about the theory of evolution. Do you think it's real?
No.
Exactly. So you think climate change is actually tied to that?
No.
And are we having a false reality, just trying to create this vision of bullshit?
That I don't know. I think that there is, if we were really breaking this down, I would say that if I had to say, I'd say that this, wherever we're living, is kind of like an arena. It's kind of like a testing ground. It's kind of like a proving ground. And we keep coming back until we figure out that we're divine, we're sovereign, we're free. We keep coming back until we find out that it's not only a game, it's our game. We keep coming back till we learn that it's our game and that we need to play it. And we keep coming back till we learn how to play it well. And we keep coming back till we learn how to play it to win. And then once we win, we move on into another phase or aspect of our development, or maybe we graduate and we get to choose where we want to go from here. But that's the only thing that makes sense to me.
So flat earthers are technically trapped in a three-dimensional world, or do you think they're actually extending into it? Because I think the fourth dimension is the lie. I think once we get to the fifth dimension, we can actually free ourselves.
I agree with you. I think the fourth dimension is by and large a dimension of danger, a dimension of diversion, a dimension of deception. That's why all these people that want to do astral this, and they want to listen to these spirit guides and these ascended masters and all this stuff, you're basically listening to astral trash that somehow find a way to stay alive when it was supposed to go into the garbage disposal. And you're absolutely 100% right. And in my opinion, that the fourth dimension is it's a zone. It's the last zone of distraction after we get out of here to try to keep us from getting up to the fifth.
The fifth dimension.
Yep.
That's where we have to go.
I agree with you 100%. And I am, that I have recently come out and said that I don't believe we're living on a spinning ball, right?
Yeah. I disagree with you, and I think you're 100% valid in your point. I just don't agree with that. But
you know what? I love that. Did you hear what did all the great people hear what he just said? He said, "You've got an interesting point. I don't agree with you." Why can't we do that with each other? Why can't we do that?
We used to disagree with each other and have valid, reactions to everyone. I don't know why we don't do
And
that.
you know what? I have fun. I have more fun with people that don't disagree with me than I do with people that do agree with me.
I know, me too. But also, hey, can you get Pharaoh to do a debate with Bishop Gators, Larry Gators?
I can suggest it to Pharaoh.
Epic.
Ain't nobody can get Pharaoh to do nothing he don't want to do. Let's just make that straight. But I'll suggest that to him.
Man, I would love to see that, because Bishop Gators is all about the occultic. He de-occult everything, and then Pharaoh also has his version of de-occulting, and it's all Gematria. Like, they kind of always break down, or what is it, etymology?
Yeah,
always break down the word. But I think they need to have a discussion.
I think it'd be an epic discussion.
Oh my God, that would be the best. That would be one of the best YouTube, debates ever.
Yeah, I do talk to Pharaoh, and I'll suggest that to him. I'm getting ready to watch the presentation he did on Scientology, and maybe suggest that him and I have a talk about that, because I think that would be interesting too.
Wow, I would be, getting my popcorn out for that one. That would be amazing.
Man, don't say popcorn. I'm in day 16, 17 of a fast, and I used to love popcorn, but I don't think I'll ever eat it again. I really don't. It's bad for you. It's the leading cause of abscess teeth, but it sure tastes good, don't it?
Well, I don't eat popcorn. I eat, I guess, pops and corns.
Okay, there you go.
I'm not trying to interrupt your fast.
I'm just joking. I'm just joking with you. Well,
I love what you're doing.
Hey, I appreciate it. What else do you want to share with us tonight?
Man, I just love how the Black community is realizing that BLM is bullshit, man.
That is so exciting to me.
It's what unites us, man, because we can't be divided like this. Like, we can't let the mainstream media control, the narrative, like how they're trying to control this idea that, there's this systematic bullshit, racism, all this crap. No,
there's not. There's not.
It's ridiculous. There's no way that's happening right now.
And we all know that the only exactly, and we all know that the only people that can help white people is white people. The only people that can help black people is black people. And it's I think that people, red, yellow, black, and white, we are all realizing that it's time to stop blaming other people, start taking responsibility, and get our own damn selves to where we want to be.
Yeah, we just got to get this low density energy out of our ozone, man, because we're ready to explode, man.
We are.
We're ready to go to the next level.
We are.
We got this parasites. I call them soul parasites.
That's a great description.
And they're hijacking our ability to maneuver into the next dimension. And once we get these parasites off our back, man, the sky's the limit, man.
It is. Hey, thanks for the call. It's been a good one. Don't let it be your last one, okay?
All right. Take care.
Take care, my friend. Take care. You guys, I got to tell you, this is so much fun. It's such an honor. It's such a privilege. And to know that so many of you take time out of your time to give us a call and share with us. We learned so much this way. We learned so much this way. And the phone line, it is open. It is open, and it is 813-534-0083. 813-534-0083. It is late night in the heartland, where we encourage you to unindoctrinate overnight. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, your host. We have great teaching. I think it's pretty great here every day on this channel. And we are going to be doing this every single night. I don't think we'll do it on the weekends, but we might. I'm so thrilled and so happy the way this is working. It's just amazing stuff. And even more amazing, ladies and gentlemen, even more amazing is people like Vicky Rivera. Vicky Rivera has just sent in a great $10 Super Pal chat. Vicky, I appreciate you. And it literally kind of makes me choke up a little bit when people show enough care and show enough kindness and, really want to help out. We have been demonetized here on YouTube. And I also want to remind you folks of our great sponsors, Focused Life Force Energy. I'm sitting in a high consciousness environment right now that is beamed here through Focused Life Force Energy. Don't tell anybody. I got like a secret, not everybody can get it thing, but you can get to your phone, you can get to your home, a literal bubble of high consciousness. It mitigates, and they just sent me an email today. Let me tell you something that it does that is super amazing. They upgraded the service. It used to just, what's it say right here? They upgraded. Let me just share this really quickly. They upgraded their service, effective on all subscriptions and free trials. You now have the EMF mitigation version 2, which increases the percentage of harmonization of consciousness lowering EMFs. So not only do you have the regular EMFs, but now, ladies and gentlemen, you've got the blended materials such as iron, manganese, and zinc that has been added to the fluffy field. Prior to the upgrade, only consciousness lowering EMFs were being transformed into consciousness raising EMFs. Now, even neutral EMFs are being mitigated. This means more harmonization, especially noticeable for those with EMF sensitivities. It upgraded on September 22. And if you haven't tried Fluffy yet, check out the free trial. Go to jeffreydaugherty.com, click on the Fluffy logo. There's no credit card required. They're not trying to set you up and hope you forget. And there's no obligation. They're great people. Go to jeffreydaugherty.com and please do, I just missed something. Please do use the jeffreydaugherty.com, click on the logo, because then you will get the great discount offer. They're good people, and it is a fantastic product. I will never be without it again. And the phone line is open. You can call in at 813-534-0083, 813-534-0083, and you can get on live and talk to me. I love this right here, and I'm going to try to show this with you. And this is just, you tell me, Biden's up by 20 points. Electoral college is going to be thrown into chaos. I have a word for that. It starts with I have two words for that. It starts with a B and it ends with an S, ladies and gentlemen. And it's because of things like this. We're talking about California, and they put a Hollywood sign style Trump sign. It's on the hillside along the 405 near the Sepulveda Pass, and it's on the news there. And look at this, a Trump sign in Cali. You're telling me that there's this much enthusiasm for President Trump in California? The rat bastards went up there and tore the thing down, but that's not the point. The point is that it was up there for 2 days, ladies and gentlemen. And can you imagine if California is in play? If California is in play, do you understand the magnitude of the landslide of good people, of righteous people, of real Americans? I'm going to say it again. On November 3rd, Donald Trump will win 45 plus states. He may set a record for the popular vote, and he'll definitely win. the Electoral College and all of these plans, all of these worries and all of the gloom and all of the doom, it's just wrong. It's just wrong. It's not going to be what they say it is. It's not going to be as bad as they say it is. In fact, life, especially in this country, is about to get better than it's ever been. And it's going to be better than it's ever been sooner than you can even imagine. If you agree with me and you want to celebrate and give me some information that I don't have, please give me a call. Just be interesting and be polite. Number two, if you disagree with me, you think I'm crazy, you think I'm wrong, give me a call. We just got a text that says, I felt something very real when I was Christian, and I wish I could explain what was going on. And did you have the same experience? Yes, I did, but I figured out what was going on. Do you know how it is? I haven't taken any drugs. I did smoke marijuana a couple times, and guess what? It felt really good. I've never taken any other drugs, but I understand that cocaine's a hell of a drug. I understand that heroin's a hell of a drug. I understand that meth is a hell of a drug. And when you have that experience, it's a really, really good experience. And, you can actually text to that number as well, the 813-534-0083. If you can't pick up the phone, but you can't, only if you're a supporter can you text. If you are someone that wants to share an opposing opinion, you must pick up the phone. You got to have the balls to make the calls. The feel good, the love, it's like any other pimp. The God of the Bible is like any other drug dealer. The God of the Bible is like any other drug dealer. The first one's always free because the first one feels really, really good. But then you get that hunger. Then you get that crawly. Then you got to have it, got to have it, got to have it. The first one's free because it's the first one that kicks most of you into an addictive situation. Think about that, ladies and gentlemen. Think about that. I'm almost a little bit happy that we got a little break so I can wet my whistle and we can just talk to each other a little bit. But this is the longest break we've ever had in calls since we started doing this show. And that's because y'all are amazing people. Mandarin orange, sparkling water, 0 carbs. That's good stuff. Now, this is where I start thinking, okay, things start tailing off at 1 o'clock. Should we just run the show till 1? But then we get a great phone call. It is late night in the heartland. You're live with Jeffrey Daugherty.
Yo, what's up, Jeff? This is Grandmaster Sexy.
No, it isn't. Shut up. This can't be the Grandmaster Sexy.
It is.
Damn, man. I am honored to be talking to the Grandmaster Sexy. What's happening? Bring it down. What you got for me?
You smoking and cooking, Jeff, and everything, but I just want to have a decent conversation about race. I don't want to have any arguments or anything, just a good conversation about it. And then, I can get off this line and you do what you do.
It sounds fair to me. Go ahead.
Okay, so your perspective and also Pharaoh's perspective is that you feel that race, if I'm wrong, just cut me off.
You bet.
Okay. So you both feel that in your race, you view that the lighter shade of brown people and the darker shade of brown people should separate from each other. Is that correct?
Well, not quite. Pharaoh feels that way for sure. Me, I wish that we could all optimize our individual races and that we could continue to be together and share that optimization with each other and thereby optimizing the human race totally. Pharaoh says he doesn't think that can happen, that we need to be separate. I think history's on his side. I think everything we see in nature's on his side, but I still can't overcome that that there's literally a longing in me to have pan-nationalism, to have pan-racism, all of the races expressing their very highest optimization and being able to come together to make the human race even better. Pharaoh doesn't think it can happen. My mind and my intellect tells me it has never happened. It's never expressed in nature, but yet there's something inside of me that says, but there's got to be a chance. Does that make sense?
It does make sense. So I just understand more about the history that you're talking about and the nature that you're talking about. And also, I identify as an infinite being,
Right.
in a 3D experience.
And you are, I agree.
Right. So at the end of the day, I don't identify what I see in the mirror. I identify as the being inside of what I see in the mirror.
And you know what? If all of us could get to where, and I think if all of us could get to where you are, I think that's the ideal. But I understand Pharaoh when he says, unless, and this makes so much sense for each race individually. You know, Pharaoh would say, and he said on his channel when we've been together, and I think he's been on my channel and said it, but he said that the only way the black race can ever reach its full optimization is to focus on the black race, work on the black race, and do everything they can to help the black race. And I think he's right on that. And I think the same thing with the white race. The only way the white race can optimize itself is to focus on the white race. And Pharaoh is of the mind that each race has to take care of itself and get itself to its best. And then maybe, you know, after we kick these bitches out that are oppressing all of us, then maybe we can sit down and talk together. I hope that those talks lead to at least some measure of continued integration. He doesn't think it's possible. I hope that it is.
Okay, I perfectly understand everything that you just said, and I just want to just give a little bit of perspective, maybe a higher perspective.
Okay.
Coming from that angle. They've done a study where they put black ants and red ants in a jar. And the black ants and the red ants, they got along perfectly as long as they left the jar alone. Once they shook the jar and then they dumped the ants out, the red ants and the black ants killed each other to the death.
And that's a verifiable real world study.
Yes, sir.
That, my friend, is fascinating. And isn't that exactly what they're doing? They're shaking up our jar.
Yes, sir.
So what do we do as red ants and black ants? We know the jar is being shook. We know I don't really got to, if I'm a red ant, I don't really have a problem with that black ant. The black ant ain't the problem. It's whoever's shaking the jar. As ants of a different color in a jar that's being shaken, Grandmaster Sexy, what the hell do we do?
Well, I think that both of you and Pharaoh are on the right track, exposing the jar shakers.
Oh, damn, that's good. Expose the jar shakers. Keep going. Keep going. The floor is yours.
Well, I kind of was hoping that you would expound on that a little bit, because I believe that that's your area of expertise, as well as Pharaoh's. You guys are doing an excellent job of exposing them, and I'm hoping that you guys both continue to do that, because that is what's going to lead us down the path.
Mm-hmm. And Grandmaster, you're right. And I use this silly analogy, but to me it makes perfect sense. The jar, you know, I usually use the plantation thing, but that thing with the ants is perfect. We're in a jar. Whether it's flat, round, we're not talking about that. We're in a jar. And you got red ants here and you got black ants. And somebody starts shaking the jar. And the somebody that's shaking the jar is telling the black ants, it's the red ants' fault that this jar is being shaken. And somebody else is telling the black ants, you know, each ant is getting told that it's the other ant's fault. And the other ants say, oh, well, it must be their fault. They're not like us. And then they start fighting with each other to stop the shaking jar. And if the red ants kill all the black ants, they're still going to find themselves in a shaking jar. If the black ants kill all the red ants, they're still going to find themselves in a shaking jar. And we are, Pharaoh and I, in our own way, are saying, look, bitch, the jar's being shaken. Forget about the other color ants. Let's get our shit together and let's go after the one that's shaking the jar.
Yes, sir, and I completely agree with that, and I would more than willing to go after the jar shakers, and I think that's exactly what we need to do, and I don't want to take away anybody's culture, anybody's history, anything like that. If you like something, you like something. I know plenty of the black people that like what the white people have done in their culture. I don't see anything wrong if they gravitate towards that. And I don't see anything wrong with if there is somebody white that gravitates more towards black culture. I don't think they should be persecuted for those actions. And so that's just where my angle, where I'm coming from. And if anybody doesn't agree with me, that's fine, but that's my angle where I'm coming from. So therefore, I have a little bit of disagreement that I think that we need to have compassion and understanding and not persecute just because somebody may want or like somebody else's culture a little bit better. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and if Cynthia was awake, she goes to sleep at this time, she'd want to hug your neck because that's exactly what she says. Now, in my heart, I agree 100%. And when I listen to let me finish. There's a but. I do it. Ideally, that's what I want. That's what I long for. But when I listen to Pharaoh say, "Look, Jeff, our race is in a wreck because of a lot of things that have happened. We're through blaming people, but you got to give us a minute to focus on ourselves, and we ain't going to be too worried about you right now while we're focusing on our stuff. And we want black people, like my daughter, my oldest daughter, she's got 3 kids of her own, and I got 2 new grandchildren, and she just adopted 2 new children, and they happen to be black. Pharaoh would not be in favor of that, and he's got a good reason, because he says a white man, a white woman cannot teach a black child how to be black. And I get that understanding. I think there's room for black people to be damn proud of their black race. There's room for white people to be damn proud of their white race, to be proud of their history, to be proud of their culture, to want the best for their race above all races. And then and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And I think that even though we don't know it, that once we do get to the heights of our own races, I think maybe we won't want to be separate. We'll feel that longing to be together. The only thing that worries me about Pharaoh is I don't know if, he says it, he said it on the air with me. He says, Jeff, I want to work with you. I want to, he says, I want to fuck with you. And that's a good thing. He says, but if it comes to war, I got to fuck with my people, and I would be on the other side from you. And I that makes me want to get emotional, because I hate for that to happen, but I can understand our white race has been damaged. Our black race has been damaged, and our other races have been damaged. So I can understand the need to fix and heal and grow our individual races, exclusive to other races, focus on our own self. And I just hope that Pharaoh is wrong and I'm right, and that when we get ourselves together, that it'll be something that wants us to pull together with other races instead of separate. Even though, lions don't hang out with tigers, tigers don't hang out with ocelots, ocelots don't hang out with pumas, they stay separate. We see that expressed in nature, but I'm hoping we have a little higher nature. Does that make any sense at all, Grandmaster Sexy?
Well, I hear everything you say, and what I would say to that is that I don't look at it as different breeds of cats or different breeds of dogs. I just don't look at it that way. Like I said, I look at the person within, and I kind of have to just go on the lines of, you can either be a victim or a victor. Yes, someone can victimize you in a specific time frame, but if you let that linger on, then you become a victim. So somebody can victimize me, but I'm not going to stay stuck on that specific day. I'm not going to give them the power of me being a victim. No, I'm going to be a victor. You see what I'm saying? And so
I do.
And so I'm not going to allow that to transpire day after day in my life. Now, what he's talking about as far as his race and that, I believe it goes a little bit, circles back to the jar shaker a little bit, and it also goes into the victimhood that I'm talking about. And also the third thing is that he's a little bit hypocritical in his teaching, because he teaches the higher perspective, the fourth dimensional, the fifth dimensional way of thinking in life, but he also stays stuck on the skin color thing a lot. And so
I think that's a fair criticism. I think that is a fair criticism.
So, but I understand where he's coming from, and I don't want to disrupt anybody's what they feel that they've come up with in their culture and what they like. But I just want to just move past the skin color thing. And I see why it's kind of hard to do, because the jar shakers have done this to us and try to pit us against one another. And just like how, in the recent time histories, maybe the black race of people, or the black people or whatever, that have been maybe more seem to be taken advantage of. But if you go back way further in history, it could have been the white people that were taken advantage of a little bit more. So
right.
You got to understand that you got to go back to the jar shaker. Who is doing this, and why are they doing this? Ultimately, and you might agree with me on this, because I think you may have spoken on this, I think they want to end humanity. They want to end consciousness.
They do.
Because in the 3D realm, of course, they want to take over the consciousness and not allow humanity to exist. Of course, if we pass away and we go back, we're consciousness and we know everything. We're God, basically, but we want to live in this 3D world, and we want to live it out in this existence, and it's beautiful, and that's what we want to do. So ultimately, they're trying to take total control of this 3D realm, and I think that that's what we need to focus in on. And if we just go back to our corners, I think that's what they want, and I'm not going to give them what they want. So I can't agree with just going into my corner and just saying, oh, I need to take care of this over here and just forget about everybody else. I don't believe that that is the answer to defeating them. We must unite together. We must not be victims, and we must drop our ego, do the shadow work, whatever hurting us within, and then unite, come together and defeat them. And then we can live in this beautiful world. That's just the way I feel. And I'm going to leave it there, and I'm going to let you go ahead and expound, unless you want me on the line to respond to anything else.
I'd like to ask you a question, Grandmaster Sexy. What you just said was powerful. It was beautiful. It's some of the most beautiful words that I've ever heard. You're a very eloquent man, and I respect you very much. Can you give a hint or two or three or 10 to people that want to get where you are? What's a practical thing we can do to get ourselves into the mindset that you've achieved, where you don't see color, you see the person within?
I think that we have to do the shadow work. And
what do you mean by that?
The shadow work is what you don't know about yourself, which is not allowing you to live in reality.
Wow.
I think sometimes you call it the what was it, the Ingalls, the
Ingrams, yeah.
The Ingrams. You call it the Ingrams. I call it the shadow work.
Yep.
So I think that you're over the target with the Ingrams. If I can speak your language and the audience language of the chat room.
And you know what? Just that, Grandmaster Sexy, your effort, your willingness as an intelligent, divine, sovereign, free being, your love expressed to your fellow beings to be willing to contextualize yourself so that somebody else can understand you, and not trying to be, oh, I'm me and you got to understand me. That is a trait of an advanced being.
Hey, I love you, sir, and you're respectable and honorable, and you're a truth teller, and I love you.
You know what? I love you too, brother. I really do. And you are the reason why I keep doing what I do. Please call back again. And it warms my heart every time I see you in the chat.
Oh, for sure. And you know I'm going to call back in and talk about sports someday.
You got to bring it to me, man. I'm here to listen. I know I'm a pretty smart guy, but the smartest guys know that there's always going to be somebody else out there that's either smarter, as smart, or maybe dumb as hell, but knows something that I've never been exposed to.
All right, brother. Have a good night.
You got it. Ladies and gentlemen, that was the one, the only Grandmaster Sexy. And from one sexy guy to another, that might be the best phone call that we have ever had. I love me some Grandmaster Sexy. I love me some young Pharaoh. I love people. I do. People think I'm an asshole, and I'm not really an asshole. I just play one on YouTube. Jeff, why you got to be such an asshole on YouTube? Listen, man, I'm trying to shake people out of their doldrums. And sometimes people are so delirious, they need a little smack to break them into a place where they can hear. I'm the blunt object. Pharaoh, way more blunt than me. I'm kind of the medium blunt object. Plus, if the damn car is heading for the cliff and the cliff is just around the bend, you don't say, pardon me, excuse me, but I don't want to bother you, but you're about to run your ass off a cliff. What do? Like, oh no, wait, whoa, stop. Hey, it's a cliff, you're gonna die. This is some serious shit we're talking about, ladies and gentlemen. This is some real world shit we're talking about, ladies and gentlemen. We ain't got time to be polite. We ain't got time to worry about your feels. No, we don't. The bridge is out. And unless you put on the brakes now, But I'm the hater. I'm the hater. Because I tell you, the bridge is out. And the people that just let you drive by because they're worried about your feelings, I don't give a good goddamn about your feelings. If you're about to go over the bridge and you're going to die, your feelings are going to be done. If I can call you a dumb, stupid, ugly son of a bitch, which I never would, but if that would get you to stop, what that motherfucker say, and pull over, I would do it. All I'm trying to do is get you to put on the brakes. I want you to get out of your car and threaten to whip my ass. Because if you get out of your car, you'd be like, oh, shit. The bridge is out. I'm like, well, no kidding. What the hell you think I'm over here yelling and screaming? I got a beautiful wife laying in bed. I could be snuggled up right next to her, and it's good. But here I am, late night in the heartland, sitting in this really comfortable chair, talking to some amazing, amazing people. Grandmaster Sexy, one of the most intelligent, enlightened people that I've ever heard. And I think Grandmaster Sexy's black. I'm not sure. I think he's black. Never met him. But to all you people that say, oh, none of the blacks care, none of the blacks want it, all the blacks want this, they want, that's a black man saying, I don't look at people's color. I look at what's within. Now, Grandmaster Sexy, he just, he puts on his pants one leg at a time like the rest of us, but he has done some work on himself. And it takes a man and it takes a woman to look inside and say, oh, shit, this ain't the way I want it to be. I need to do a little bit of work on this because I ain't right. But too many of us in the conspiratorium, too many of us in the truth movement, if somebody says, I don't really agree with you, why are you attacking me? This is my truth. Well, you know what? You can have your truth, but guess what, cousin? Sometimes your truth doesn't line up with the truth. And you can have your truth all you want, but guess what? Just because it's your truth don't mean it's the truth. And if it's your truth and it doesn't line up with the truth, your truth gonna lose. Oh, Jeff, don't take people's truth away from them. Your truth might be you're going to keep driving down the road. The real truth is you're about to run out of road. If I'm the bad guy, I'll be the bad guy. Mr. MGTOW Milk Apple says Jeff is the most politically incorrect person around. And at the end of the day, that's what makes him great. I really appreciate it. And Tracy, this is the bottom line. At some point, you got to recognize that it's a you problem. I know that people have been persecuted. I know that people have been had stuff taken from them. I know that people have had people do bad things to them. But until you realize it's your problem and not anybody else's, you are never, ever gonna make it. Christina Ortiz says that Grandmaster Sexy slam dunked he did. And the facts don't give a good goddamn about your truth. It is not a black or white problem. It's a human problem. And Tracy says this all the time. Cynthia says the same thing. You're arguing about the color of the car, the make of the car, the model of the car. Dude, these are just vehicles. They're just vehicles. Do you want to be a victim? Do you want to be a victor? He's the only person I've ever heard say that other than me. Just a great, great, great car. Joe says we need the truth. Hard, cold, rude, crass. It doesn't matter. You just described me, Joe. Thank you. Hard, cold, rude, crass. I got a lot to learn from Grandmaster Sexy. I do. And to think that he subscribes to this channel and listens to me. Wow, 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 wow. Ooh, Wendy Sloan informing us that Vice President Prince. Could you imagine Vice President Prince? Could you imagine Vice President Prince in a debate? He doing them jumps and shit. Come down and do a split. Kamala be like, what the hell am I going to do? But anyway, Vice President Pence did say to Kamala Harris, your opinion is not fact. Wow. That is powerful, powerful, powerful. Very, very powerful. Oh my, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my, ladies and gentlemen. Seeker of Truth is tapping out. Got to get some sleep. I understand. And I'm trying to figure out the timing. Is 11 to 1 enough? It might be. Because things get a little slow in this 1 to 2 slot, but that's okay. You never know until you try, right? You never know until you try. What a great night. What great, 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 great contacts. Ooh. It's late night in the heartland, and you're live with Jeffrey Daugherty.
Hey, man, what's going on? I'm calling back. I called back earlier.
Excellent. What's on your mind?
Yeah, your last caller, he was great input.
Amazingly profound. And he is where we all need to get to, in my opinion.
Exactly, because we're all these, I don't know what you want to call us inside, what we are, our souls, whatever. We're all the same. And it's crazy how we've been kind of divided by our color of our skin or whatever. I don't know.
Are we all the same, or is that just something they tell us?
I think we're all the same.
I do too. I do too.
Too sure.
I really do. I think that we're all the same. And
I think it's been
go ahead.
Something implanted into us from when we're growing up in school too. And through all these years, we're being programmed. There was the slavery and all that. It's like it's still putting somebody under you, no matter what.
Right.
Like no matter the way they teach it, right?
Absolutely. And I mean, even the slavery thing, they use the Confederate flag. It's a symbol of racism and hatred. Do you know how many brave black patriots fought and died under that banner?
Yeah.
It's just, it hurts my heart to know that we've got to this place. And we've got to this place because we have listened to them and we believe them. But all we have to do is stop believing them and stop listening to them.
Mm-hmm. But are we still listening to them now, though? Like with this whole debate and all this stuff going on with the election? Like, do you follow it all, like, along the whole time, even between election years? Like, because the last time I think I followed it was last election year, like 4 years ago.
Yeah.
And now I'm all in it again, even though they dragged me in.
I was out of politics. I, worked in a major political campaign. I saw how politics work on the inside. And I realized that there is no answers in Washington, D.C. Your answers aren't really going to come from Washington, D.C. I thought the whole thing was broken. The whole system was a joke. I was never going to vote again. It's just ridiculous. And then Donald Trump came down that elevator, that escalator, saying what we need to hear, doing what we need done. And he literally has taken a country that was broken. And in 4 years, Donald Trump hasn't made America great again, but in 4 years, he gave us the encouragement and he gave us the opportunity, and we have made America great again in 4 years. And we're here to not only keep America great, but to make America even greater. And I think that it's already begun, but it begins for sure and in earnest on November the 3rd.
Yeah, that's the thing though with Trump. Like, I don't know if he's just another puppet. Like, to me, it feels like he's the perfect guy. Just like hearing you say that, like, it seems like he's the perfect guy to get people who are totally out of the loop and don't even want to be in it anymore get sucked right back in.
But he's either the perfect guy, he is either the greatest American since George Washington, or he is the greatest false flag that's ever been perpetrated on the American people. But look at what he's done. Everything he does is for the people.
Yeah, it totally, he's like the biggest, I don't know, he's the biggest divider too, though, too.
How can you give me an example of Donald Trump being divisive?
I mean, just the way, I mean, I'm not talking about him personally, I'm just saying in the media.
Oh, okay, you're right. But actually, and this just hit me, Donald Trump is not even divisive in the media, because have you ever seen the media unanimously united without exception against anybody like they are against Donald Trump?
No, exactly.
So he's even a uniter. he unites the love him. He unites the one that hate him.
It's funny though, because like when he first got like.
And let me just break in real quickly, because David Brooks is in the chat room, and David Brooks says Trump has done so much for the black community. I love it. Please continue.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, back when he first when did he come into the election back before he got elected? Like, how many months before that?
Only about a year out did he come down the escalator.
Yeah, because it was that was the year, like, my dad passed away. My dad was, like, so into it. And I just wish he could have seen it, because he believed it would ever happen.
Wouldn't your dad be just happy? I mean, that's something. That's a really, really good point. And yeah, but you know, I do have the advantage of having, you know, spend about 15 minutes talking to the man and looking at him and, you know, evaluating him. But I mean, I'll give you, and I'll show you guys this tomorrow. He's the president of the freaking United States. I am not a super donor. I've given him a few bucks, but I am in no way a super donor. And the other day I get this envelope in the mail, you know, like a big manila envelope. I get this envelope, and I'm not a super donor. I'm not. And I open it up, and inside, I kid you not, and I'll show you this tomorrow night, inside is a hand-signed 8x10 of the president of the freaking United States of America sending me a picture, hand-signed, and it's not a machine sign. I know what those are. It's a hand-signed picture from the United States of America. Who does that?
How'd you get that?
I don't know, but I got it.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just weird how he's so divisive. Because I was talking to another guy. Like, I play some games online and stuff. I was talking to a kid. And, like, he's in all the conspiracy and stuff. And I'm talking to him. But then as soon as I start swaying towards Trump, and he's like, but you have a bias. And I'm like, but that's, like, if I was to have any bias, even though if I don't vote or whatever.
Right.
Like, how could you not swing that way? Right?
Yep.
I don't know. It's just weird.
Yep.
Like, they even got some people they totally know what's going on, but they still go against it. Like, the people are still I don't know. It's crazy how they can get into people's heads.
Yeah. And Cynthia got this silver like credit card from him today. I mean, they, and of course it's not Donald Trump. I mean, but he did sign the picture. It's just, he's got an amazing, he's a great businessman, and he knows how to make people feel important, because I think he believes people are important.
Yeah, it's insane how people used to love him too before he's president. Like, if you ever watched,
Oh,
like,
yeah.
and shit, and like, or even like Howard Stern had him on, he was like in love with the guy.
Yeah.
Like, after the fact, he's like totally against them. It's like, what?
You know, I have met, I didn't mean to cut you off. It's a little bit of a lag. I have met George Bush. I've met Ronald Reagan. I've met George Bush Sr. I've met W. I've met Bill Clinton. And none of those guys had the charm and the charisma of Donald J. Trump. And none of those guys went out of their way like Donald Trump did to make a personal connection with me. And I'm some clown interviewing to manage a timeshare outlet at one of his hotels. And I come up to him because he's getting ready to go play golf. And I come up to him and, excuse me, and a freaking billionaire talks to me for 15 minutes. Who does that?
Yeah. So obviously he knows he's on his right track, and he'll be able to talk to you. I mean, yeah, exactly. You should be able to read someone else's energy.
Yeah.
And be able to tell where they're coming from and see what path they're on.
Another big moment for me with Donald Trump was I'm watching him give it's like a speech, and then he has a little press briefing afterwards, and he's just taking questions from the people. And this lady raises her hand, says, "Mr. President, he was just running. Mr. Trump, thank you for being here." And asks him a question. And then he goes on the next one. He says, "By the way," something clicked in him. He goes, "By the way, why are you here?" And she says, "Well, actually, I applied for a job. They were at Trump Tower." And he says, "A job?" He goes, "What job?" And she says, "Well, it's something that you can't hear." And he says, "Come up here on the stage." So he brings this lady up on the stage, and he says, "You got another copy of your resume?" And she says, "Oh, yeah, it's right here." He's standing there at a press conference. He reads her resume. "What job did you apply for?" Oh, and he goes, "No, that job's not good enough for you." He says, "This is a great resume. This is a great woman." He hands it to one of his people and says, "I want her on that job we just talked about." And he hires this woman on the spot. And guess what? She was black.
Yeah, it's the thing. Like anybody talk to you say he's racist. It's like, what are you talking about? Like,
there's no way he's racist.
Like, where do these claims come from? I've never been able to.
And do you know that Donald Trump has more women in executive positions in the Trump organization than any of the Fortune 500 companies who mandate it through affirmative action? But Donald Trump does it not because they're a woman. He doesn't give a good goddamn if you're a woman or not. He doesn't care if you're a man. He don't care if you're black, white, in between, gay, straight. He wants to know who's the best person to fulfill this job to make me some money. And that's who he hires. That's who he hires.
But does that just make us fall into this whole left-right paradigm?
What do you mean?
Now we're just in it, right?
You totally lost me on that one. Of course, it's late and I'm fasting. But what do you mean?
We're still in the left-right paradigm, and we're still supporting one side of the same bird, though.
But see, the point of to me, I say no, because President Trump has shown us that there is no left, there is no right, and the way we know that is because the right hates him, the left hates him. So we realize, oh shit. The deep state is not the Democrats. There's Democrat deep state, but there's also Republican deep state. And the beauty of Donald Trump is he's not left. He's not right. He's just the man for the job. And I think he has shown us left, right is bullshit. Black, white is bullshit.
Yeah, so I guess we'll have to see when this... You think there's probably going to be a long... Like, he's not going to be elected on that day. Like, there's going to be it's going to be debated for a while.
You know what? No, I don't. I know everybody says it's going to drag out. It's going to be it's going to be so. I am on record, and I've never been wrong before, and I'm not wrong here. I've never been wrong about political predictions ever since Rex brought me on. Rex brought me on before when Trump had just declared, and I was on with Heidi Vandenberg. It was Wayne and a couple other people, and we did these predictions, and everybody's laughing at me. Oh, Jeff, you so stupid. They weren't saying that, but they were, because I said Donald Trump is going to be elected president of the United. Oh, there's no way. I ain't gonna. And boom, here it is. And I'm telling you, Donald Trump is going to win more than 45 states. The popular vote is going to be so massive. The Electoral College is going to be so massive that they will be forced to declare Donald Trump the winner before midnight on November 3rd. I said it.
Yeah, because even 4 years ago, it was what were they predicting? Hillary, 99%.
Oh yeah, Hillary's got it won. If you go back and listen,
now it's pretty much even, right?
No.
I don't follow it too well.
If you go back and listen to all, Hillary's up by 20 points, Hillary's up by double digits. The same exact things they were saying about Hillary is the same exact things that they're saying now about Joe Biden, except Hillary could fill a high school gymnasium. Joe can fill a row at a high school gymnasium, and Donald Trump is filling the Superdome.
Yeah, it's insane.
It is insane. And I know, so I don't think it's going to be, I think it's going to be easy peasy, and we can breathe a sigh of relief.
It's played on TV too.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy how they can twist things.
Absolutely. What else you got for me? Anything?
I mean, you got to give them credit.
Yeah, we've been giving him too much credit, but guess what? That bill has come due. It's time to pay the piper, and we're the piper. Got anything else for me?
No, I'm probably about to get going to bed. It's almost 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, I know, man. All right. Have
call if you didn't have any other callers.
Have a good sleep. I appreciate you so much. Yeah. Take care.
You too, man.
Wow, ladies and gentlemen, another great night of podcast excellence. Joe's about to get sleepy. Well, Joe, it is almost 2 a.m. here in the Heartland. It's late night in the Heartland. And I appreciate you so much for being here. It's been a great time. We've had some great calls. And I don't know. I really don't know. Sleepy Joe. That's funny. Joe Sapiens with a great sense of humor. I think Joe might have been our first call, or he wasn't the first one, but he gave us a great call. I mean, we've had amazing subjects. We've talked tonight about Floyd Mayweather. We've talked about the debate. We've talked about the COVID numbers. We've talked about Kamala Harris. We've talked about her connections even to the Lincoln assassination. We've talked about is Bill Gates. We had somebody come in and say Bill Gates is a good guy. You don't hear that very often. Somebody come in and say Freemasons are good. You don't hear that very often. We talked about Gematria. We talked about race. Wow. We talked about red ants and black ants exposing the Shakers. We heard one of the greatest calls to a higher level brought to us by the one, the only, the man, the myth, the legend, Grand Master Sexy. I wish I'd have taken that name. Hey, come on. You know it fits. Don't even lie. Don't hate the play or hate the game, ladies and gentlemen. Well, guess what? This is our game, and we're playing this bitch to win. We're going to wrap it up right there tonight. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty. You know me as a Christian Whistleblower. You know me as the mailman. I know you as the best damn bunch of people that I've ever been around. And okay, one more call. It is late night in the Heartland, and you're the last caller. You're live. What you got for me?
Jeffrey, I have a burning question for you.
Okay.
I love your work and all that.
Is there a butt coming?
what I want to know, do you know that Trump, when his first day in office he was 70 years old, 7 months and 7 days old. So that's a casino 7-7.
Did we hit the jackpot?
Yeah, and when you plug that into the Jewish cipher, it equals 777. When you put in the name of order out of chaos. Did you know that?
I did not know that. I know that you're saying it, and I assume that you're a person of honor. And if that's all true, I say, cool, bro. Cool story.
Yeah, well, that's through the Gematria calculator. So it's just anyway, just that 777 thing.
Mm-hmm. What do you make of it?
Well, you go to John Trump, which is supposedly Julian Assange, and it's basically on time travel, but that's the leader. And so I don't know. I mean, what are the odds that you can only have 777 twice in your entire lifetime?
That's interesting. That's really interesting. Again, the first thing, I lived in Vegas for almost 5 years. I didn't like to gamble, but I've been in the casinos. You can't go to the gas station without going past slot machines. And when you said to me it's 777, what I said was, boom, we hit the jackpot. So see how perceptions
There you go.
can be one or the other?
Yeah.
Interesting, isn't it? You think do you think President Trump's a bad guy?
I'm not gonna say good or bad, but I'm pointing out that that's I've done a lot of research with on Gematria and stuff,
right?
And when we kind of found out, it was just like kind of really mind blowing because it all kind of ties into, and then when it ties into the Gematria Jewish cipher, it was like what? So anyway,
I give you this. It's very, very interesting. There's no reason. I mean, it's very, very interesting. It's very, very striking. It makes you say, and it's got to be one of those things that you take into consideration in your calculations. I'll give you that for sure.
Yes, and thank you. And I've been wanting to mention that to you for a month and whatever, and so I'm like, finally, I'm just gonna call you and see if you nailed on that part of it. So,
well, I'm glad you did. I really appreciate it. Thanks for calling in. And it, again, that's just a really, really interesting point, and it's worthy of consideration. And you'd be a person with a closed mind if you don't say, "Damn, that's kind of interesting." And it was. Thanks for letting us know. And somebody's helping you out in the chat room, and I've got this book on my shelf. John Price says you got the Crowley book, Liber 777. Aleister Crowley. Yeah.
Thank you, Jeffrey, for your work.
Thank you for your attention, and thank you for your courtesy and kindness, and thank you for doing me the honor of calling in.
Okay, we'll see you next time.
I hope so. Take care. Bye-bye. Now, aren't you glad that we kept the phone line open to bring such a great last call? If somebody calls in the next 3 minutes, I'll leave the phone lines open for 3 more minutes and 33 seconds. I'm just kidding about that, but I'll leave them open just for a second. I want to say goodbye to you. I want to say thank you. And we are dropping a little bit in numbers, so it is time to go. It's it's one of those times. They tell me in live how many people are watching, so we appreciate you so much. I can't even tell you how much it means to me. And folks, I'm telling you, This little show we just started, this is what, our 4th show. This show is making a difference in people's lives. And this show is going to make a difference, and you're part of it. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty. Thank you to all of our moderators. Thank you to all of you that took time to call in. The last caller did sound like the naughty beaver, didn't he? Ooh, we were wondering if he was dead. It might have been the naughty beaver. Let's go back and listen to that. We'll put you on that, guys. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been Late Night in the Heartland. I want to thank all of you for making my day.